a crime by using sharp metal tools to remove part of the glue that became visible, thus damaging the 3,000-year-old piece without a moment of conscience. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A report on obesity rates released this week by the CDC confirmed that millions of courageous Americans continue to overcome the media's persistent pressure to be thin. Researchers told reporters that while the vast majority of film and television continues to portray thin, in-shape people, over 30% of Americans remain resolved in their effort to stand up to idealized images of men and women.
Every day, people are inundated with unvarying images of slim men and women, but millions of heroic Americans continue doing their best every day to maintain BMIs 35 or higher. These people aren't afraid to fly in the face popular culture deems acceptable and bravely eat and drink whatever they want, whenever they want.
In other news, the nation's single men announce a plan to change their bed sheets by 2019. A woman who left the room crying earlier expects to jump back into the party just like that. And a courtroom artist is clearly infatuated with the bailiff. This 2.5-minute-long session of immersion therapy is finally complete. Your crippling fear of watching video news recaps should no longer be a problem. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here. We'll give you our toll-free numbers and the Skype username. You can take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever is on your mind. Coming up, the aspirations of Ted Cruz at age 18. We'll play you about a 30-second clip of what he had to say, but with you tonight, it's Ian.
Rich Paul.
And Darryl.
And so Ted Cruz apparently was recorded. I don't know how old this guy is right now. Maybe, what is he, in his 60s, you think? Late 50s?
Ted Cruz is not 60 years old.
Late 50s, mid-50s? I'm not good at...
He's probably in his 40s. If you
Really?
give me a second, I'll pull up an age.
All right, yeah, I appreciate that.
Ted Cruz is 45 years old.
Wow, 45 years old. So fairly young for running for president. At age 18,
He's about the age that John Kennedy was.
This coming from the
He's my age.
Young Ted Cruz channel on YouTube. When I first spotted this, it only had about 200 views, and I thought, this could go viral. And then there was like a post on the comments by ABC News asking for permission to use this. Now it has nearly 500,000 views, and it's only been 2 days since it's been released. So I would say that qualifies as viral. Here's what you may have missed if you haven't heard it.
Is that like sweat on my butt? No. Oh, I see. What you want me to do, what I want to do in life.
All right, so just to set the scene, that's him talking about the sweat on his butt. He is at apparently a...
Because he was asked about his aspirations.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's at the Second Baptist School in Houston, Texas, out in front of a waterfall of some sort of like water...
A water fountain?
Water fountain thing. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, let me go on here.
Well, my aspiration is to, be in a teen tit film like that guy who played Horatio. You know, he was in Malibu Bikini Beach Shop.
So he wants to be in a teen tit film. That's one of his big aspirations in life. And then?
Well, other than that, take over the world domination, rule everything, rich, powerful, that sort of stuff.
All right, so take over the world domination, rich, powerful, that sort of stuff. And now he's running for president.
Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
So this
I think the major difference between 18-year-old Ted Cruz and 45-year-old Ted Cruz is that 18-year-old Ted Cruz was a little more honest and upfront about actually wanting world domination. 45-year-old Ted Cruz doesn't say world domination.
Yeah.
he will say that, we need to go, kill ISIS and stuff like that. So, he talks around the world domination bush, but he doesn't actually come out and say world domination.
Sure, he's a much more experienced politician at this point. But some would say, that's just what a teenager would say. I mean, he's just a teenage boy. And
then what the hell's Donald Trump's excuse?
What do you mean? Because he's talking like a teenager?
Donald Trump is saying stuff worse than what Ted Cruz said.
Yeah.
And he's not a teenager. He's somewhere near 60 years old.
Yeah, my favorite Trump quote of the day is Rand Paul saying of Donald Trump when Donald said that he could go out on Fifth Avenue and shoot people and not lose any support. Rand Paul's response was, well, you know, sometimes narcissism comes with delusional features.
All right, that's pretty sharp.
Yeah.
So if you want to join us here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Did Ted Cruz change his aspirations between the age of 18 and 45, or are they still the same as they once were? You can bring up whatever's on your mind. We go to Dustin listening in Columbus, Ohio. Dustin, what's on your mind tonight here? You're on Free Talk Live.
Yes. My name's First Lieutenant Dustin Lawson, and I'm a public affairs officer in the military. And I feel like America doesn't get the perspective of soldiers very often because we don't normally speak out about politics during campaign, but I feel a little more obligated at this time because...
Well, you're obligated because you're working for the government, right? I mean, you're the public affairs officer for the military?
Yes, and so it is my job to deal with media.
So tell me, what inspired you to call Free Talk Live tonight?
I'm afraid of Donald Trump being my next boss.
Really?
I can understand that.
Why is that?
Because I would want a commander-in-chief. If you're going to lead soldiers, I think you should reflect qualities that you would want in a soldier. And for one of those qualities should be a soldier should have a thick skin. I've many times just had to stand there and take the criticism, and a soldier you would expect can just take that criticism and assess it and apply it to their life to improve themselves. And you would want maybe a commander-in-chief to do likewise, but Donald Trump is about the most thin-skinned person I've ever seen. And someone who can't take criticism like him is someone who is not willing to admit they can be wrong, is someone who if you're not willing to admit you can be wrong, it usually means you're protecting your pride, and you'll continue down wrong courses just to protect your pride.
So you think he might use the American military for his own personal benefit by engaging in wars with people with whom he has disagreements? Something like that, perhaps?
I mean, I would definitely say that would be his, but I also think his tongue is so loose that he would start military conflicts, maybe not intentionally, but just because. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, President Obama gets criticized and made fun of by Kim Jong-un, and he just kind of brushes it off. But can you imagine if when Kim Jong-un starts making fun of President Trump and him just being able to hold his
President Trump would he would
God,
probably
those two
say
words together. Just
he would probably say we're going to go bomb the S out of North Korea the same way he said that he wants to bomb the S out of people that are Muslim living in the Middle East that he doesn't like.
Yeah.
Now, do you have somebody that who would you prefer? What's your pick for 2016?
I don't think I should probably go down that route. I can say I don't know. I mean, I have.
Well, now you've called in, and you're. I presume you're not on the clock when you're calling to say.
I am not. No. I'm not in uniform. I definitely would not make this phone call in uniform. I'm in my jeans and a t-shirt.
Okay, so this isn't your opinion of. This isn't the official opinion of the military spokespeople.
I am not speaking on behalf of the military at all. I'm speaking on behalf of myself.
Okay, so you feel comfortable attacking Trump, but not endorsing any other candidate at the moment, and that's fine. Maybe you haven't made your mind up.
Right. No, I haven't really made my mind up at this point. I feel like we're getting the political talk that we normally get from everybody, and I'm very well aware at this stage in life that 80% of what a politician says in a campaign they're never going to be able to make good on anyway. So
if you've got a politician who does 20% of what he's promised, you're way, way ahead of the game, bro. Hold on to that guy.
Dustin, thanks for calling tonight. I appreciate it. I got to say you were a surprise. I didn't expect it to go that direction. Thank you. I appreciate hearing from you tonight here on Free Talk Live. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. In the beginning, it sounded like he was almost calling on behalf of the military, so I'm glad we clarified that was just the opinion of Dustin, who happens to work for the military.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm Cecil. I'm calling from the Air Force. I wanted to see if I had your correct address here. Now, I can't really see the walls, but what color is your roof? Yeah. What color is the roof of the building that you're in right now?
Okay, can you give me the GPS coordinates?
Well, at first I thought this might have been some sort of campaign. Before he got into his topic, I thought it might have been like a military campaign to simply reach out and propagandize to radio shows that were critical of the military, because certainly on Free Talk Live, I mean, it's not uncommon for us to say, hey, close down the 1,000 military bases around the world, end the involvement of the United States military in all of these 130+ countries that they're involved in. And so I thought for a moment there we might have been selected and targeted by the military for a campaign of propaganda, and that would have been particularly amusing, but it ended up being
Occasionally we say, U.S. out of New Hampshire.
Yes, and we need to say it more often. Nothing personal against the military folk. I mean, I understand a lot of them got in because they thought they were doing the right thing, or they thought they'd be fighting for freedom, and then many of them find out that, well, that's just not the case. They're actually doing the bidding of politicians. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also join us on Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. It's Free Talk Live.
Every once in a while you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more.
It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here on the radio waves. Toll-free numbers 855-450-FREE. Coming up, one of the people behind those Planned Parenthood videos, the ones that were the undercover, like baby parts buying videos from a year or so ago, one of those people apparently has been indicted. Darryl, you're going to give us that story. I also want to let you know that you can join us on Skype at username LRN.FM. You've got Ian, Rich, and Darryl in the studio here tonight. Just a moment ago, off the air, we were talking about the Liberty Forum, making plans for, setting up outreach booths and things like that. And hopefully you're going to be there because it's coming up fast. We're talking about maybe just a little less than 4 weeks, three to 4 weeks, that range. February 18th through the 21st. Is when it's going to kick off, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. It's in Manchester, New Hampshire, at the Radisson Hotel, the largest of all of the hotels, the largest convention space that you can have in New Hampshire. That's what the Free State Project has reserved, and it was there last year. It was a lot of fun. This year, they've got Edward Snowden, who is going to be the keynote speaker at the event, which is a huge score. But that's not the only reason this is the biggest and arguably the best year to attend Liberty Forum. It's also a big deal because, well, we're about to hit 20,000 participants in the Free State Project. Now, it was just like 2 days ago that we crossed the 97.5 mark. We're now at 19,580 people who are signed up, and that number hasn't gone up, I don't think, since yesterday. So I think they're going to be jumping that up quite a bit here. Probably.
It either went up late last night or early this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, note that it's exactly 420 short of the goal, and they're using that number for a fundraiser, so I think it might be slightly manipulated.
I think it is. I think they've paused it at that point, conveniently paused it at that point, and you're going to see it past 98% either later tonight or early tomorrow. The Free State Project is almost to completion. By the time the Liberty Forum happens, it's definitely going to be done. And what I mean by done is I mean the 20,000 people who, like us, have signed the Free State Project pledge will then begin having to make the move within the next 5 years. There's a 5-year window of time after 20,000 is reached where libertarians, voluntarists, anarchists, whatever you call yourself, if you love liberty, you've got to move to New Hampshire and be here as part of the Free State Project. It's super exciting. So this is the first Liberty Forum that will be happening post 20,000. This is going to be, I think, like a big weekend-long celebration. I mean, this is going to be a big party.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Liberty Forum is always a big party, but I think it will be an even bigger party.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, exactly. So go to nhlibertyforum.com. Get your tickets now. Lock your hotel room in. It's not too late. nhlibertyforum.com. Mark your calendar for February 18th. That's a Thursday through the 21st, and that's a Sunday. Let's go to Jim listening in Wyoming, and then coming up on the we'll talk about that Planned Parenthood story. Jim, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead. Maybe it's Tim.
Ian,
is it Jim or Tim?
Yeah. Tim.
Hey, Tim.
T-I-M.
Hey, Tim. Go ahead.
How you doing? I'm glad to get on the air. Thanks for the show tonight.
Yes,
there's the public affairs officer that called in and gave his name.
Yeah.
Said his name and rank. That was actually a very big mistake on his part, because honestly, whether he's in uniform or not, he's still a representative of the military. He can pretend that he's not, but then his flip flopping on his possible choice for who should be dictator in chief was the point that really told it, really brought it clearly to my view that he was actually calling in to put Trump down, because he doesn't want to talk about Obama, he doesn't want to talk about Clinton, he doesn't want to talk about Sanders, he doesn't want to talk about anybody but Trump.
Are you saying he was a fake? Are you saying he wasn't actually in the military?
I'm saying he was a fake. That's right. I'm saying he was either faking it or he was either faking. Maybe he's in the military. Maybe he has the rank. Maybe he doesn't.
Is
do
he
that
risking
job.
like a court-martial or something, or some kind of charges?
I know that there are prohibitions on active military getting involved in political stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
he
true.
might
You
be...
can't show up at rallies in uniform. That's why he made the point of saying I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt.
He didn't make that point until I brought it up.
Right, but
Right.
He might be trying to get kicked out of the military.
That
He
could
might-
be.
He was making.
Well, you can't just claim you're gay anymore like they used to.
Go ahead, Tim.
No, that doesn't work either. No, anybody can be whatever they want to be. You can be a purple penguin if you want to be. But anyway,
Can you
Yeah.
imagine being confronted by a platoon of purple penguins? How do you deal with that?
well, you might actually win the war. But
Well,
who knows?
first you perform the Heimlich because they're probably choking on something because penguins are supposed to be black and white, not purple.
Why would they? Oh, they're choking. Right, I got you. So, Tim, go ahead.
Yes, they're asphyxiating. Okay, yes, no, he made a mistake. He should never have said his full name and rank and what his position was, because that was actually something that's prohibited. That's prohibited.
Who's your pick for president?
My pick for president? Well, you guys have already said that you hate Rand Paul. Rand Paul is my pick, and the only reason.
Well, that's
I don't
only
hate
some
Rand
of us.
Paul.
I like Rand.
Okay,
I don't hate him.
like him.
I feel
You
like
don't like
he's
him
not a
because-
libertarian. I'm not going to. I
Rand
wouldn't
Paul
vote.
says that Rand Paul is not a libertarian.
Right, I'm
I
not
think
excited.
he's lying.
I'm not excited about Rand Paul. That doesn't mean I hate the man. Daryl, do you
Okay,
hate
no,
Rand
no.
Paul?
I've never met the man to know if I like or dislike him as a person, but I do not like most of his policies that I'm aware of.
I think Scott Horton.
Most of them?
I think Scott Horton says that he hates Rand Paul. But no one on this show has ever taken, I think, that strong of a position against Rand
Okay,
Paul.
well, hate is a strong word. Okay, I shouldn't have said hate.
I stand with Rand.
Rand
you-
occasionally stands with me.
Well, I agree with most of what he says. Okay, now when he said that he liked the idea of, okay, and he only said this because he thought, okay, this is the reason that he thought that Snowden should go to prison if the head of the NSA at the time also went to prison at the same time. That would make it real. That would make it honest. Because if you put the whistleblower in with the person who actually committed the crime, then you're saying that that's the only way that would happen.
That's not the only way it would happen.
He did not.
The law
as
is
if
the
he
law
said
is
that Edward Snowden deserves to be in prison and he should share a jail cell with Clapper, the guy that headed up the NSA. He
That's
did not say he should
quite
only
what
be
he
in
said.
prison if the NSA guy is also in prison.
Yeah,
there
as
was
I-
no if.
As I recall, the actual the actual exchange was something like, "Yeah, what would you do with Snowden? Ha ha ha! I'd throw him in the same cell as Clapper." And of course, Clapper isn't going to be in a cell, so that's somewhat ambiguous. Then
But
the
isn't
other
the suggestion
statement
that isn't the suggestion that in the Rand Paul administration they would both be thrown in a prison cell?
Well, except that you know that Clapper isn't going to go. So that may well be a way of saying, yeah, sure, as soon as you put Clapper in jail, I will, which would be one interpretation of it. The other thing is that was a tongue-in-cheek response. What he actually said when he was asked about it later was, I would try to negotiate a settlement with Mr. Snowden.
For him to stand
that would
trial.
probably involve, well, I think he was talking about a plea bargain. He said it would probably involve some jail time, but when you're negotiating a thing like that, you ask for more than you expect to get.
That's a lot of excusing there, Rich. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. I don't want to have to make excuses for what a candidate says.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com. Hey guys, Pat Matthews here to tell you all about the newest and best way to sell your products online. It's buysellmakeoffer.com, a brand new site to sell your stuff online. Your old golf clubs, sports equipment, tools, and yes, even your car. Forget about the other guys. Buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge you item fees. Go to the website now and sign up so that you can soon load all your stuff up to sell. This is not an auction site. Just use our resources along with Skype and videos to sell your items quickly and with no fees. Go right now to user-friendly buysellmakeoffer.com, where the first 30 days are on us.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at SurvivorMax.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Are you a sneezer? If you're not, can you get close to one? I don't literally mean someone sneezing. Sneezer, as defined by marketing guru Seth Godin, is an opinion leader. When a sneezer mentions something, other people catch what Godin calls the idea virus. Seth Godin says some people are more likely to tell their friends about a great new idea. So identifying and courting sneezers is a key success factor for idea merchants. His book, Unleashing the Idea Virus, is the most downloaded ebook in history, and you can download the whole book free. That's how he's making his idea contagious. Click tips, tricks, and other stuff to help you cut through the clutter at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can join us on the radio here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. Our Skype username is lrn.fm, so feel free to reach out to us in that way if you like. SaveItPurse.com allows you to save big time on your purchases from Amazon, up to 50% off. And usually I'll put in between 20 and 30%, but I have gotten as much as 45% off, hoping that I'll be receiving a package with 50% off, but I never count it until it's a done deal, till the package is at my door.
Well, what I've gotten 50% ordering stock for the slap, so
excellent.
It can be done.
SaveItPurse.com. Go ahead,
Well,
Darryl.
what if you get the tracking notice of here's the tracking, UPS tracking? What would you count that?
That's a pretty good guarantee that it's going to make it, but I generally don't count it until the product's in my hand.
Okay.
Because that's when I release the Bitcoin. And that's the thing. You've got to have Bitcoin to get these deals. If you don't have Bitcoin, SaveItPurse.com is not going to do you any good. But if you are willing to get Bitcoin, this makes it worthwhile, because whatever it is, the markup that you're paying for Bitcoin isn't going to be anywhere close to 20%. If you're going through Coinbase.com, it's like 1%. If you're going through a local Bitcoin vending machine or Bitcoin ATM, you're looking at usually 5 to 15%, depending on the market, depending on how many Bitcoin vending machines are around. And so it's worth it to go and get Bitcoin so you can spend it through SaveItPurse.com and save big time on every Amazon purchase you make from here on out. That's how I've been using it, and you can try it too. And when you enter through SaveItPurse.com, Free Talk Live gets a very small portion of your purchase price. Let's go to the phones and to the fun. We've got Michael listening in Connecticut. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Rich, and Darryl.
Hello, my name is Michael.
Hi, Michael. You're on the radio.
Hi, I just wanted to let you guys know a friend of mine actually said that I should call in and let you guys know about this. But back in September, I actually had a run-in with the Connecticut State Police.
Uh-oh.
I was protesting a checkpoint. Basically, I advocate for freedom. So wherever there's oppression, I go, and I speak out about it.
Right on.
So I was at this DUI checkpoint holding up a sign, and I was also open carrying. Now, I open carried.
Before you go on, what did the sign say?
The sign said, "Cops ahead, keep calm and remain silent."
Okay. All right.
I think I actually saw a picture of that sign on Facebook earlier today.
Excellent.
You did. That was probably there's the video that I took of that encounter actually went. There's been a lot of views, so that sounds about right.
Nice. All right.
So anyhow,
how long before the cops started to harass you? How long were you out there?
About an hour.
Okay.
And so I was standing on a sidewalk.
Is this recent, by the way? Like wintertime kind of weather? What kind of weather? When was this?
This was back in September. I'm sorry.
Okay, got it.
So it was September 11th, and I was holding up the sign when I noticed a state police cruiser, an unmarked state police cruiser, coming towards me. There was an on-ramp right near where I was to the highway, and they were driving against traffic. The DUI checkpoint was on the actual highway itself. And, they were driving against traffic without, their audible siren or lights.
Wow.
And flashing lights, driving against traffic. And as soon as that happened, I started recording. And I also had another friend who started recording as well with me.
Oh, good. You weren't alone.
And so basically, right. So basically, immediately the cop comes up to me. His name is Trooper First Class John Barone, and he grabs my camera and throws it down to the ground. And I also, by the way, I have it strapped to my wrist, so he took it off my wrist as well and threw it down to the ground. And he's like, put your hands up in the air, and I'm like, what's wrong? And he said, you're carrying a gun. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that,
I take it that open carry is legal in Connecticut?
Open carry is legal in Connecticut,
okay.
Yes.
Do you need a permit to do that?
Yes, you do.
And do you have the permit?
Yes, I do.
All
okay.
Right.
Nice.
So anyhow, so basically...
How close, by the way, I'm sorry, still trying to get a lay of the land here. How close is your friend who was also recording this?
He was about 15 to 30 feet away from me.
So a little too far to maybe pick up audio or whatever. All right, so he's still got his camera.
I'm actually getting to that,
Yep.
So to make a longer story short, basically what ended up happening was that they ended up detaining me. They frisked and searched me. They went into my pockets to get my permit without reasonable suspicion.
Whoa.
At first they said it was because someone called in and said,
someone called. You don't have any rights anymore. We're just going to treat you like a criminal.
Exactly, but that's only allegedly because, they gave me two different stories afterwards, so they kept changing their story.
Yeah, well, let's get the proof of the call. Let's get the 911 audio from the operator and see what that caller had to say. So they knocked the camera, literally threw the camera down from your hands. They went through they possibly destroyed your property or damaged your property. Also, they could then run a check to see if you were legal.
Exactly. And, my experience, if you're illegally carrying a gun, you're not going to open carry. So, but anyhow, so after that was, after they had taken, they forcibly took my gun from its holster as well. And, it was safer in the holster than when they took it out because anything could have happened then.
Yeah, I bet.
But anyways, so what happened next was I picked up my camera and, to make sure it was still recording. It wasn't recording because the battery had dislodged.
Was this, just a point of clarification, was the you picking up your camera, was that while they still were assessing your gun or they had returned it to you at this point?
No, they were still assessing it. The
Okay.
whole encounter was 40 minutes. They detained me for 40 minutes.
Jeez.
So, but here's the best part. When I had picked up my camera and started recording, Trooper First Class John Barone again came over to me, and he said it's illegal to take my picture, to which I replied, no, it isn't.
No,
you're
definitely
on
not.
public property.
Yeah.
You're a public employee, but he snatched it from my hand again and then took it.
Wow.
And unbeknownst to him, it was still recording, so it recorded their whole conversation back at the unmarked police cruiser.
Oh, that's got to be gold. That's got to be gold. Tell me
it
that's
is gold. First of all, you have them saying that everything I've been doing was legal.
They knew that it was legal.
They knew that it was legal, yeah.
Yet they were acting like you could be some sort of dangerous criminal and you need to be checked out and so on and so forth.
Are you going to sue these guys?
Yeah, I hope there's a lawsuit in the works here. This is awful.
Yes, it is. So, now I get to even a better part, believe it or not.
Okay, so wait, just to clarify, they took the camera back into, where was it, a cruiser? Where were they having this conversation?
Back at the unmarked police cruiser.
In their cruiser, okay.
Yes. So anyhow, you can hear them in the background talking about what to charge me with, and that they need to charge me with something. Their exact words were, "Let's give them something." And
right. Otherwise, it'll be an obvious lawsuit win. I mean, it'll be a clear violation of your rights if they can't muddle it up with resisting arrest and disorderly conduct.
We have to come up with something. Did he step out into the street at all? We can get him with jaywalking.
Exactly. And now here's a very good part. So, like I said, you could hear them talking in the background, and they're talking about, trumping up the charges, and you can hear them fabricating a story in the background so that they could charge me with something to cover their ass.
I want to hear more. I know you've got more to tell here, Michael, and I think I found the story on copblock.org. It looks like the headline, CT State Troopers Caught Lying on Video About Man Open Carrying While Cop Blocking. It sounds like you, right?
Nice.
Yes.
All right, Michael, stand by, and we'll continue with more of what the cops had to say when they thought they were in private with one another. Oopsie. It's Free Talk Live.
If you're not a smoker, please cover your ears, because the following incredible free money-saving offer is not for you. The makers of O2 Pure revolutionary e-cigarette are now giving away free starter kits to all smokers who call in the next 10 minutes. Valued at $99, these starter kits are available for free, but only while supplies last. To guarantee your free kit, simply call in the next 10 minutes. 1-800-691-5458. The advanced O2 Pure design creates a pleasant vapor. There's no foul-smelling smoke and no nasty tar, so you can enjoy the nicotine you love whenever and wherever you are. Even better, you could also save yourself a ton of money, hundreds of dollars a month with O2 Pure. Again, free starter kits are now available to any smoker who calls in the next 10 minutes. This is a radio-only offer, not available in stores, so call now for your free kit. 1-800-691-5458. 1-800-691-5458. 1-800-691-5458.
Winter has just begun, and are you already tired of being cold? How would you like to never be cold again? This is Dale with Fortress Clothing, and I'm here to tell you, you will never be cold again with Fortress. If you're tired of freezing your butt off, elk hunting, sitting in a tree stand deer hunting, winter camping, fishing, ice fishing, no longer fear the cold. If you snowmobile, ski, snowboard, Get Fortress. Sledding with the kids, shoveling the walks, shopping, or if you or your spouse get cold feet at home, get Fortress. If you're stuck outside working in the cold or find yourself in an emergency situation, get our winter bug-out bag, and you will never be cold again. Fortress is the answer, so quit complaining and go to fortressclothing.com. It's a mid-layer garment that goes with anything you want to wear. Enter coupon code RADIO and get 20% off any item. Go now while we still have inventory. fortressclothing.com.
Free Talk Live.
Most people, when it comes to what the government demands about their property, the zoning board or whatever department we're dealing with here that claims to have dominion over what you believe to be your property, most people just go along to get along because they understand that something nasty will happen if they don't. They understand that if they don't do what the people calling themselves government demand that they do, that eventually men with guns are going to come to their house, possibly just take it from them. And I think everybody inherently knows that there's a threat of violence behind what the government does. Oh, I know. You like to tell yourself stories about how it's the price of civilization to pay taxes. The price of civilization is zoning. It's the price of civilization to obey orders.
Well, don't forget the pig farm excuse.
Oh, sure, yeah.
If you didn't have zoning, somebody would open a pig farm right next door to you.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
You can listen to Free Talk Live on the radio, podcast, satellite, webcam, and our live streams. But did you know you can listen to Free Talk Live from any phone, anywhere? Add this number to your phone, 213-493-0308. It's a long-distance call, so make sure you're familiar with your phone's calling plan. The listen lines are airing the latest episode of Free Talk Live 24 hours a day, including our live shows. Call 213-493-0308. That's 213-493-0308.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Monday, gold is up $8 at $1,107 per ounce. Silver is 19 cents higher at $14.27 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $398 US. Robertson Roberts has been helping people invest in precious metals for nearly 40 years. If you want to find out more about gold and silver, give us a call today at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Join us on the radio here, toll free, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM. You've got with you in studio tonight, Ian,
Rich Paul,
and Darryl.
And don't forget to join us online anytime you want at freetalklive.com. Please help support the show by becoming a Free Talk Live amplifier. The AMP program allows you to support us for $5 per month and help us get on more radio stations all around the country. Hoping to announce some more stations soon. Darryl, you've got some in the pipe. You've been doing affiliate relations for the show for a couple of years now, and these are things that take time to really pay off, and you've got hopefully a really good one coming up soon.
Yes.
But we never announce them until they're actually on the air, so stand by for that. It's the AMP program that makes it all happen, and listeners like you. We've got a few hundred amplifiers. Thank you to all 300 plus of those folks who are backing the show for as little as $5 a month and getting perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only Facebook group, and the AMP-only podcast and more. Go get the details. Get signed up with any major credit card, Visa or MasterCard, and also Visa or MasterCard directly on our site, and then any major card through PayPal, and now also Bitcoins. You can now be a Bitcoin amplifier at amp.freetalklive.com. We're back with Michael listening in Connecticut. Sounds like he was out doing some cop blocking out at a DUI checkpoint in, I guess it was the Hartford area. You were targeted by police officers, state police specifically, because you were open carrying, but also because you were protesting their checkpoint. And they came over, they grabbed your camera, threw it down to the ground, proceeded to detain you for 40 minutes while they ostensibly were checking to see if you were legal to have a gun open carried in Connecticut, which apparently you need a permit for. And during this whole process, they accidentally, on your video recorder, they accidentally recorded when they were like confiscating your recorder from you and taking it back to their police cruiser. They then recorded their own conversation with one another that they thought was in private, and that's kind of where you left the story off.
Yes. So they were, talking amongst themselves about what to charge me with, and that they need to charge me with something to cover their ass.
Mm-hmm.
From there, it's basically, they were talking about, it's legal that everything that I did was legal, but you could hear them in the background talking about fabricating a story. And so, yeah, just wanted to let you guys know that.
Well, now, there were charges. I pulled up the CopBlock story here at copblock.org. It's one of their top stories on their website right now. They did end up coming up with stuff, right? What did they charge you with?
Yes, they did. They charged me with a negligent pedestrian for legally standing on public property, and they charged me with creating a public disturbance for legally open carrying my handgun.
And the public disturbance was the fact that the allegation that someone had called the police department to complain about you having a legally carried openly carried handgun.
Exactly, and it appears that they don't even that there wasn't any call, and
Really?
also, they didn't even get the names of the alleged people who complained. So
Wow.
you could hear in the video, the officer saying, and then we'll claim that, there were multiple people complaining.
Wow. So in their supposedly private conversation, they made up and openly stated that they were going to fabricate the claim that multiple people had complained to them, when in point of fact they can't provide any evidence for even a single complaint coming into the department.
That's my that's my understanding.
So, what's the status legally of those two charges? Are they pending? Are you going to court? What's going on with that?
My lawyer and I just had a first appearance back on January 14th. Not last week, but the week before that. And so my lawyer was talking to the prosecutor, and by the end of the conversation, they had offered me a deal where I would only have to pay $25 of the original $300 fine. But I rejected that deal.
Good
because
for
I
you.
did nothing wrong.
What
So
are the
now
charges? Are they misdemeanors? Are they violations of town ordinance? What did they charge you with?
They are actually infractions.
Is that that must be like a violation? It's a state level kind of violation, right? Because it came from the state police.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Good for you, man, for not taking the plea deal on this. I mean, it sounds like you've already got them on the ropes, and if they end up going to trial with this, it will be so embarrassing for them to have this audio played in the courtroom. I mean, I don't think you're going to end up inside a trial for this.
Do you have the video online?
It's on, yeah. It's right here on CopBlock's post here, which I'm going to share the CopBlock post on our Facebook and our Twitter, so anybody who wants to see this video. And it's a full, it looks like the raw video here. What's it, about 7 minutes long? 7.5?
There's the 7 minute is the cut down.
That's
version.
the edited version. Okay.
Yes, because people have shorter attention span.
Absolutely.
So,
you got to
gonna
do the
wanna
highlights.
watch.
Oh yeah, and then I see you've uploaded on your same YouTube channel, Michael Picard. You've uploaded the full video as well. So very, very cool, man. I'm looking forward. Normally I try not to watch these police abuse stories just because there are so many of them. But, now that you've called in to bring our attention to this one, this is really an unusual one, with the police recording themselves in their own car, plotting to basically completely fabricate charges so they can justify harassing you. And it should make people out there listening to this wonder how common this behavior is. Because it's easy for folks to say, well, it's just a few bad apples. Well, what are the odds that the few bad apples just happen to get caught this one time?
And remember,
if there were this many bad apples appearing in grocery stores, there would be a national investigation as to what on God's green earth was going wrong with the apple crop.
Yeah.
And remember, the full saying is a few bad apples spoils the bunch.
Right.
Not a few bad apples, and then you pluck them out, and then the rest of the apples are good. No. A few bad apples spoils the entire bunch.
So, Michael, it sounds like you may have a real good civil case to bring. I imagine you've already discussed that with your attorney in this case. You're probably not even going to see the inside of a court during trial on this, because I bet you they're going to null pros those charges before you actually go into a courtroom. If you do end up in a courtroom, what is the legality, or how easy is it to record video in Connecticut? In court?
Well, it's legal on public property.
In court, though. In court.
In court, the police officers. I'm not a lawyer as well, so don't take my word, for it. But the officers knew it was recording from the very beginning. The fact that they
right. No, I understand. I understand that. I think you're fully within your rights.
He's asking if you can record your actual hearing in court.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant present the video in court. I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure about that. We have a few people. We have one particular person who's interested. That my lawyer and I will be, bringing, into court. So hopefully we can record that.
All right. So I think that's excellent. Now, I don't know what your viewpoint is generally about freedom, but if you're a pro-freedom kind of person, have you heard of the Free State Project?
Yes, I have, and I listen to Free Talk Live pretty often. So. Okay,
great. Do you have plans to move to New Hampshire? Because I don't know how many people are going to be showing up for your trial in Connecticut, but something like that up here would be, I think, a very well-attended trial.
And we need more like you.
Yeah, we need more people with the courage to do activism like that, and further to be able to record the police. You've got what it takes, I think.
I appreciate that. I have no plans as of now to move to New Hampshire, but I do visit there pretty often, as well as Maine. But no current plans to move there just yet. So
you might want to get in touch with Marcel Fontaine. He's an activist who moved up from Connecticut about a year ago, and he's been loving it up here. We've got the Free State Project is about to complete. It's about to reach 20,000 people like within the next week and a half at this point. It's pretty exciting, and you can actually have more than one person, back you up in a lot of cases. When you're doing cop blocking up here, if we can gather more people who are willing to stand up for their rights, then that will make it so the cops are less likely to behave in the way that they behaved. I mean, would they have behaved the same way if it was a dozen people who were out there? We don't know, because you weren't in that circumstance. But let us know, will you, Michael? Call back as you get closer to your trial date. Has that been set for a certain date yet?
Yes, it's been set for Monday, April 25th.
Cool. Keep us in the loop. Let us know how this develops. It's a very interesting case, and we'll put a link to your video in the Cop Block post on our Facebook and Twitter. Yeah. Thanks for the call tonight, Michael. I appreciate it. Fascinating stuff. Sounds like it's going to be some excellent, very revealing video behind what the cops had to say when they thought they were behind closed doors. 855-450-FREE. Join us.
As a pioneer of the e-commerce movement, Overstock.com is proud to be the first major retailer to accept Bitcoin. Overstock was the first because Patrick Byrne, Overstock's CEO and founder, firmly believes in personal freedom and cryptocurrency. Over the past 16 years, Overstock has furnished over 18 million homes with a diverse line of products to suit everyone's unique styles and preferences. Support Overstock and freedom of choice while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com. Are you an experienced Uber or Lyft driver with excellent ratings? If so, then you're ready to upgrade to Arcade City.
Arcade City is a ride-sharing app built by drivers for drivers. It's more decentralized than Uber and Lyft. With Arcade City, you keep all of what you earn. Sign up now to drive for Arcade City at arcade.freetalklive.com. That's arcade.freetalklive.com. Did you know that you can listen to and watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cam at cam.freetalklive.com? Not only that, but you can also chat with other listeners at the same time. Do I need to mention that both the studio cam and chat room are totally free? Outside of Free Talk Live's live hours, you won't see a cam feed, but will hear audio from the Liberty Radio Network. So listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, January 25th, 2016. Silver is trading at $14.21 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,106 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $400. Antiwar.com reports, speaking on Sunday in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Secretary of State John Kerry endorsed the Saudi government's decision to attack Yemen in March of last year, starting a war which has raged ever since and killed thousands of civilians. Kerry claimed the decision of war was made in part to target al-Qaeda operatives, even though in reality the Saudis left the local al-Qaeda affiliate, al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, totally untouched for 9 months and allowed them to occupy the major city of Mukalla early in the war, where they've remained ever since. Kerry followed on these comments with complaints about Iranian interference in Yemen. Though the Saudi war is against a Shiite faction in Yemen, the group has few historic ties to Iran, and despite Saudi claims, they've provided little evidence of Iran being even tangentially involved. On Saturday, the White House issued a statement of concern about the massive civilian death toll in Yemen, but conspicuously did not mention Saudi Arabia, who has killed the vast majority of them, and simply urged all sides to exercise restraint. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spend-A-Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend-A-Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports center-right candidate Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa won Portugal's presidential election on Sunday, an outcome that should help maintain political balance after a dramatic swing to the left in October's parliamentary ballot. In his victory speech, Socialist Democrat Rebelo de Sousa said he will work to promote consensus and repair divisions created in the aftermath of the previous election when the left ousted a center-right administration that imposed tough austerity under an international bailout in 2011 through 2014. Portugal's president is a largely ceremonial figure, but he plays an important role at times of political uncertainty, as have gripped the country since last October's inconclusive parliamentary election. He has the power to dissolve parliament and fire the prime minister. Portugal is likely to need all consensus possible as a shaky government of moderate center-left socialists dependent on far-left parties for support in parliament tries to reconcile its election pledge to end economic austerity with budget deficit cuts promised to the European Union. With nearly all the votes counted, preliminary results showed Rebelo de Sousa winning 52% of the vote, enough to avoid a runoff. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports 8 employees of Cairo's Egyptian Museum will be charged with negligence over the mishandled reattachment of the beard of King Tutankhamun's mask. According to a report by the Egyptian prosecutor, the beard piece of the iconic blue and gold braided mask broke off in August 2014 when workers took the mask off its display to fix an electrical problem in the round base that lit the mask. Museum workers are accused of making 4 failed attempts to reattach the beard, at first by using large amounts of an inappropriate glue, and later by also attempting to cover up their mistake by using metal tools, which also damaged the mask. An investigation into the incident was launched in January 2015. A team of conservators led by German experts in October successfully reattached the beard and attempted to remove any damage caused by the failed attempts. Those facing charges of negligence and of violating professional standards include 2 restorers, 4 senior restoration experts, the former director of restoration, and the former director of the museum. Egyptian prosecutors said in a statement issued on Sunday, ignoring all scientific methods of restoration, the suspects tried to conceal their crime by using sharp metal tools to remove part of the glue that became visible, thus damaging the 3,000-year-old piece without a moment of conscience. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The American robin heralds the beginning of spring in temperate climates across North America. Its red breast makes it easily identifiable as the most disturbingly efficient murderer in the animal kingdom. Robins inculcate their young with these twisted maws. We see an adult robin feeding its young with the ripped-apart viscerae of an innocent worm. Like the Greek hero Atreus eating the flesh of his children at his own table, this black deed must surely curse the entire species. Even the most depraved acts of humanity pale in comparison to the robin's wickedness. Like idiot rapists, they commit their foul deeds with neither foresight nor hindsight. They live entirely in the present. Living beyond space and time, their god is the awful seething maelstrom of chaos at the center of the unfeeling universe.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us on the radio waves. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE as we launch into the second hour of the program. With you in studio tonight, you've got Ian,
Rich Paul,
and Darryl.
We're going to go right to your calls and thoughts coming up. Darryl, you'll be telling us about the latest on the Planned Parenthood undercover videos. There were, I guess, some activist group went in and made some undercover videos, highly edited, apparently, and made it look like Planned Parenthood executives were trying to buy baby parts or something like that. Sell them. Anyway, this was like a year ago, and somebody's been indicted. One of the people involved in the video making side of things has been indicted. So we're going to get to those calls and thoughts here, and you can of course bring up anything you want. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Skype username is lrn.fm. We're going to go to Skype right now where Kylan is on the line in Guam. Kylan, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Rich, and Darryl.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Welcome, sir.
Hey, I just wanted to give a quick story about the state of public schools on Guam, and it kind of shows what happens when you force kids to go to school, when they don't want to go to school.
Sure.
Just about a half hour ago, we've had our 19th bomb threat in 2 weeks.
Whoa.
Yeah. This is the 9th one in 2 days. So basically, the kids are using this. This is just the public schools. I think there was one military school where they did it. That was only once, though. But the kids are basically using this just to get out of school because they know that the adults, right, the state police or the Guam police are just going to react to it, and they get sent out of school. So, they're just doing it to kind of get out of tests, I think.
Wow. Well, I hope these kids realize that they're likely to see a massive overreaction if and when they're caught doing this.
Yeah, it's probably a felony, but then again, if you're under the age of 18, maybe there won't be as great of consequences for you. I don't know. Will they charge you as an adult for something like that? They might.
Probably.
Some of them, they're thinking about it if they're seniors, if they're about 17 years old. Some of them are probably 18 already that are doing it.
I remember being back in high school. People talked about doing that. I don't know if anybody ever did. I don't think they did back in my day, but it was talked about. So it was definitely something that was considered back in the late 1990s. I would think it'd be harder to do these days with the ability for governments to track phone numbers probably more effectively today than in the past.
Well, there are ways to still hide your telephone number.
Are there? Even from the phone company?
They're kind of doing it. So they're kind of doing it an old school way. They're scratching it on the bathroom stalls.
Oh, they're not calling in the threats. They're like leaving a threat for someone to find?
Yeah, the ones that called were the ones that got caught.
Yeah, interesting.
All they did was scratch it on the inside of a bathroom stall.
Yeah.
And they gave the date and time of when it would happen.
Fascinating.
So then at that time.
Because who's going to know? I mean, they're not going to put a camera in the bathroom stall. So, I mean, that's.
Yeah, but now people are calling for that. People are calling for people to either be in the bathroom when kids are using the bathroom or putting cameras
bathroom chaperones now in high school.
Oh, man.
Do you have to tip bathroom attendants when you're in high school? I don't know.
I always, I don't like those guys. Those guys are always so pushy in the clubs that I've been to with the bathroom attendant. Like, look, dude, I don't need you to hand me the towels.
I've never been to a bathroom with an attendant.
Yeah, they had attendants at a couple of raves I've been to. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, it's one thing if you're.
Did they ask to hold it for you? Like, let me hold that for you while you pee in the urinal.
Well, at least then they'd be doing you a favor. But I can reach and grab my own paper towel. Thanks very much. I don't need to be taken care of like that. I mean, I understand the bathroom attendant when you're at like a super ritzy high-end place. That, I get it. That's sort of what comes along with that. But we're talking about like a cheap low-end club with some dude who's basically like looks like a bouncer sitting in the bathroom, essentially trying to intimidate people into giving him tips.
Yeah, well, probably effectively what he is a bathroom bouncer. Yeah. I think they're less interested in providing service at that point. And more interested in providing security for the actual facility.
Well, at the very least, probably trying to stop people from having sex in the bathroom, which is probably fairly common. Anyway.
Or at least get a tip when they do.
So, Kylan, are you in high school? Are you, are you involved in this?
I'm not the one doing it. First of all,
no. I didn't mean are you. I didn't mean are you doing it. I mean, are you like in the high school where you are being taken out of the school? They're evacuating.
Actually, I work at a private school, and I mean the kids at my school, they are all saying the same thing. They're like, man, we would never do it here because if we did that here, they get kicked out. And it's a big deal if they get kicked out of a private school as opposed to a public school.
Interesting.
See, I've been kicked out of both, and it seemed pretty much the same to me. Just a note.
Yeah, there's a huge. Well, yeah, I mean, like the value of education, especially here on Guam, there's a pretty big community that values the education. So if they get in a private school, I mean, it's a shame on their family almost.
Sure.
Get kicked out.
How many people live in Guam?
About 160,000, I'd say.
And it's like, what, 14 hours ahead of Eastern time? So it's bright and early in the morning right there where you are?
No, it's 11, 12 a.m.
Wow.
And is Guam a territory or a protectorate?
Yes. Territory.
I think, I don't know what the
Darryl knows. He doesn't even live there.
Yeah.
Hey, Kylan, thanks for the call tonight, man. Thanks for waking up with Free Talk Live. Appreciate it. Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3737.
It's not that early. It's 11 in the morning there.
It's 11 in the morning, but we started at 10.
That's early for Ian.
It is, actually, some days. Let's go to Max. He is calling from, you know what, I don't know if I asked him where Max is calling from. Max, you're on Free Talk Live, also via Skype.
Hi, guys. How are you doing tonight? It's a fine night for a radio show.
It is. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay, so we've kind of been trolling your chat a little bit, and we've called in and had some exchanges with you guys. I thought we'd been polite and conversational, but on the after show of Saturday's episode, you said Cantwell has sicked his minions.
I don't know who you are personally, so when you say...
Are you one of Cantwell's minions? Does Cantwell have any minions left?
he doesn't actually have minions. See, we organized this ourselves, and I just found that.
What did you organize?
You organized this phone call yourself?
Yes, What
did you organize exactly? So you're saying you're a Cantwell fanatic? Would that be more accurate?
I wouldn't even say fanatic. I would say I'm a fan of his work. I'm a listener.
But fan is short for fanatic, just so you know.
It's true.
So anyway,
that's fair.
So what was it that you were doing that you wanted to reveal?
It wasn't much of a reveal. We've been kind of messing around with the people in your IRC chat, but that's not the big deal. And we've called in. Several of us have called in over the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
And you didn't.
Are you
even
like
notice.
a bad crank caller where you say the F word on the air, or are you like a good crank caller where you come up with something creative? I mean, I don't know who you are. It's the first time that
I talked to you a couple weeks ago about why you wanted to advocate libertarianism to socialists. If you remember that call,
okay.
Maybe you don't.
Were you calling as the same name? Because I don't know if I recall taking.
Yes.
Okay.
The only crank caller I remember was the guy that sounded like he was 12 that just kept saying the N-word.
He's on hold right now. That guy. Is he with you guys?
I don't know. You see, it wasn't this, like, that's why I took issue with the Cantwell's Minions remark, because this is a grassroots movement, so to speak.
I gotcha. All right, well, I'll take it back. You're not a minion. You're a fanatic.
Okay, that's fine. I'm a fanatic as If that's
are you one of the people
to the club? I mean,
are you one of the people who have been sending insulting emails to Mark Edge?
No.
Okay, because he's been getting a lot of that.
I think
Presumably
that
from
was
Cantwell
what
fans.
he was talking about. Was
yeah,
the
that's what Mark was
insulting
referring
emails,
to.
not telephone calls.
Yeah, right. The after show you're referring to, where it was Mark returning to the airwaves on Free Talk Live. We did a 50-minute long after show. Mark was referring to the insulting, rude emails that he's been receiving. Presumably because some of them will mention Cantwell from some Cantwell fans. So
should we
right,
apologize for not noticing that these guys were trolling us? I mean,
no. We were trying to be polite.
I thought the conversation about socialism was good. Now I don't know if you were going anywhere with this. If you were, stand by, Max. 855-450 free. You can bring up what you want here. It's Free Talk Live.
Are you suffering with hearing loss? Are you sick of people constantly complaining that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to speak up? Would you like to hear more clearly, but you don't want to wear a hearing aid that makes you look old? Then you need to try Listen Clear, a life-changing breakthrough precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. And you can adjust Listen Clear to find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And right now you can try Listen Clear absolutely risk-free with free shipping. We'll even give you free batteries for life. So call now. 1-800-719-9349. Listen Clear is lightweight and completely hassle-free, and it's practically invisible. Call for your 100% risk-free home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-719-9349. That's 1-800-719-9349. 1-800-719-9349.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, joining you here from Keene, New Hampshire, at the LRN.FM studios. You've got me, Ian,
Rich Paul,
and Darryl.
And you're invited to join us on the radio. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We also have Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. Actually pretty busy on the Skype tonight. I also want to let you know about Liberty Health Share. It's a movement in healthcare today of people ready to stand up and take charge of their healthcare. Folks like you who are tired of paying too much for healthcare and getting too little. People who are standing up for their values and letting their conscience make decisions based on timeless principles. It's a movement that's sweeping the nation, and you should be part of it. Liberty Health Share is leading the movement of people who are looking for an alternative to traditional health insurance. Liberty Health Share is a healthcare sharing organization of people who are sharing the cost of healthcare in an easy and efficient way. You can choose your own doctor, your own hospital, and live out your values in healthcare. Join the movement and change healthcare for good. JoinLHS.com is where you can go to get signed up. JoinLHS.com or call them toll free at 800-722-8041. That's 800-722-8041. We've got Max. He's on the line in, I don't know where. I forget where. Where are you, Max? I don't know if we asked you that before. Do we have Max?
Massachusetts.
Max in Massachusetts, calling in to reveal himself as trolling Free Talk Live with a group of an indeterminate size of people who are fans of Chris Cantwell.
And not necessarily the trolls that we thought.
There's multiple people who've trolled Free Talk Live.
These are not the trolls we're looking for.
I like a good, good call, a good challenging call, whatever. So why call to reveal that tonight? What's the purpose?
The purpose is I just didn't like being referred to as a minion. You explained that. Then that's fine. And I've actually
the referral was specifically just for our listeners just tuning in. It was an after show that we did when Mark Edge took back his role on weekends here this weekend. Revealing that he'd been receiving lots of nasty emails from people. And I don't think Chris Cantwell instructed anyone to email Mark either, by the way. But there are some people who, will sort of do Chris's bidding, if you will. And Chris will usually make it clear that, like when we broke up with Chris the first time, he's a former co-host for people who are new to the show here tonight. When we broke up with Chris the first time, he made it clear that he did not instruct his listeners to do anything to Free Talk Live, and that in fact he made the opposite of instructions and told them to leave us be. So that would suggest that Chris has given instructions at other times for the listeners.
Let me ask this question: is that one of those? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm not asking you to do this. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
No,
but
I think
if somebody
Chris
wanted to do this. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm not saying do it.
No. He specifically asked his listeners to not come down on Free Talk Live after we had a breakup. So he
Right.
made the specific request of his listeners to not do that. Whereas the suggestion would be there that he has specifically requested his listeners to do things previously, in which case, would they be minions? Not really, because nobody's really mindless. They're doing what they want to do. So obviously it was a sort of an insulting thing to say, and I'm sorry for that.
All we're really trying to do is we're trying to get out a counterpoint. We're more on the right-wing populism tip. We're more,
So yeah, what are you into when it comes to Cantwell? Is it the Trump supporting side of Cantwell? Is it the misogynistic side? Is it the white supremacist?
Wow.
Is it the white supremacist side?
Oh, wow.
What part of it is
The poor guy, his eyeballs are going to pop out. Give him some slack. Give him some slack. Let him breathe.
What part? Really think?
Yeah, I'm asking you. I don't think. I'm just asking you what part of Cantwell.
You don't have an opinion. You just threw out some pretty big accusations is all.
Are you saying any of those are inaccurate statements?
Yes.
So you're saying Cantwell does not support Donald Trump?
He does support Donald Trump.
He does? Okay, so that one's accurate. So you're saying Cantwell is not talking on the radio about how he believes white people are supreme compared to black people?
I believe that is untrue, yes.
That's interesting, because I'm pretty sure the reason he ended up having to leave Free Talk Live was because he said things about how black people were inferior.
That's not what he said even on your show, but okay. We'll
that's absolutely what he said in the Free Talk Live.
It's not what
yeah, it was what he said in the Free Talk Live
IQ.
AMP forum. I was there for it. I saw it happen.
Okay. Well, he hasn't said anything like that in a public place.
He said that
I can see it.
certain groups have genetic traits that make them. He will not say inferior, but their genetic qualities are different. So they're not as smart. They're more prone to commit crimes, and that's genetic. He doesn't use the word inferior or superior, but everything that he hints around it leads one to conclude that he is saying that some people are inferior and others are superior.
Well, it would be hard to argue that someone who is not as smart would be superior to someone who is smarter.
Correct.
Can I ask you this? If a black person is better at sports, does that make him superior to you?
That would make him superior at sports.
A superior athlete.
That doesn't make the person a better human being or a worse human being. Or
so then why does it when it's IQ mean that? I'd just like to know.
I did say the person would be superior at sports, and what you would be saying then in that case is that the person would have a superior intellect if their IQ was higher, right?
Right. Which is that overall supremacy? I wouldn't put it that way.
Well, I think it's different to say that a particular individual excels at sports or a particular individual is intelligent than to say people with this skin color will be more intelligent than people with this other skin color.
Yeah.
And the place where Cantwell goes irrational from my point of view is, I had a discussion with him where he was saying, well, men would make better bodyguards than women. And I said, okay, so you put an ad on Craigslist for a bodyguard, and, you get 2 half-pint guys and Ronda Rousey. Which one are you going to hire? And he couldn't be brought to be said that say that he would make the rational decision and hire the person who could actually fight. Instead, it was very important to him to hire the person whose gender he thought could, on average, fight better.
Yeah, and that's where he fails, I think.
That's where he goes from individualist to collectivist, and he says, it's better to hire somebody who's not as good a fighter because on average their gender is a better fighter.
So are you saying collectivism is always bad in every scenario?
I think that collectivism is
dangerous.
Generally certainly it's dangerous.
It allows people to be sidelined as individuals. It puts it focuses on these sort of general statements, which may or may not be true when you zoom in on the individual level. And as liberty-minded people, we should be considering the individual, not the group. And Cantwell making these statements leads him to have to defend his statements, because that's what he does. Hold on. That Cantwell making these statements leads him to defend those statements, and so he's looking up all these studies, and he claims he has all this evidence, and da-da-da-da-da. But really all that matters to me is the individual. Anyway, go ahead, Max.
Well, what if we're not dealing with an individual in specific? Let's say we're looking at, crime statistics.
I don't care what the statistics say. All I care about is what an individual does, and this is what separates us from Cantwell. Thanks for the call tonight, Max. Appreciate it. Toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And it's why Cantwell isn't describing himself as a libertarian now. He's calling himself a conservative. He's a Trump-supporting conservative now.
Well, I'm glad he's calling himself conservative.
Yeah, that's what he told me when we went to the State House last week together. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Removing bad taste and odor from your drinking water is easy. Removing the bad stuff you don't taste is what ProPure does best. Water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure countertop, inline, gravity, and household water filtration products. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com or call 800-544-3533.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Are you getting squeezed by the economic downturn? Hey, you were doing fine. Then, all of a sudden, you're having a tough time paying your family's credit card bills. Maybe you were downsized or even lost a job, but you still owe 10 grand or more in credit card bills, and you just can't afford the minimum payments anymore. We're here to help. We are the Genesis Debt Partners. We know the secrets to negotiate better terms with your creditors. Make a free 10-minute call right now and learn how we can help you get out of debt. 800-981-7590. If you owe 10 grand or more in credit card debt and you want to learn how you can pay less and get out of debt faster, call right now. 800-981-7590. 800-981-7590. Get out of debt now. 800-981-7590.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can join us here on the radio waves. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And you can join us online over at freetalklive.com. Lots of features are waiting for you on the website. They're all completely free, so please enjoy at freetalklive.com. Ian, Rich, and Darryl in the studio with you tonight. Our Skype username, if you want to join us here and bring up whatever happens to be on your mind, Skype username is lrn.fm, where we're going to go to Eli. He's calling from, damn it, I don't know if I asked him either. Oh, California. He did tell me that. Eli, you're on Free Talk Live. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, you're on the radio.
So I had this joke to tell you.
Is it going to be a joke that we're going to have to, censor and then ultimately hang up on you, or are you going to keep it clean?
Keep it clean, I guess.
Okay, good idea. Go ahead.
All right. So a talent agent is sitting in his office, okay?
Yeah.
A family walks in, okay? It's an all-American family, blonde hair, blue eyes, a regular type family. And the talent agent goes, "Are you guys Jewish?"
What? He just hung up. Was that the joke?
Okay.
I don't know what. He just hung up.
What just happened?
I don't know. That sounded like it was going to be an offensive joke, perhaps, but I don't think we got to the punchline on that one.
I think
it was a foregone conclusion.
I think the punchline was to see what we did after he started telling a stupid joke and then hung up.
Weird.
Okay. Well, apparently this is what we do when you do that.
Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. One thing that is not a joke is someone getting brought up on charges, in this case, for making the undercover videos that were alleging that Planned Parenthood was trying to, sell baby parts?
Yes.
So what happened, Darryl, or what is happening now with that situation, and where's the news coming from?
News comes from the Washington Post, and they are running the Associated Press article. At 6:24 p.m. today is when this was published.
News.
So this is kind of breaking news. A Houston grand jury investigating undercover footage of Planned Parenthood found no wrongdoing on Monday by the abortion provider and instead indicted the anti-abortion activist involved in making the videos that provoked outrage among Republican leaders nationwide. David Daleiden, founder of the Center for Medical Progress, was indicted on a felony charge of tampering with a governmental record and a misdemeanor count related to purchasing human organs. Another activist, Sandra Merritt, was also indicted on a charge of tampering with a governmental record.
Wait a minute. Purchasing human organs? I thought that Planned Parenthood... So was Planned Parenthood actually selling human organs, or I'm so confused?
Well, if you walk up to somebody and you say, "Hey, could you sell me some cocaine?" You've already broken the law because you're attempting
So conspiracy to purchase human organs.
It would be conspiracy or solicitation of some sort, yeah.
So he did not actually take delivery of some human organs. He attempted to purchase.
It does not appear that way.
Okay.
And if he would have taken delivery, there would have been a charge against the person that sold him the organ, and there was no charge against the Planned Parenthood.
Yeah. Well, it would certainly be interesting if they charged him with receiving it and not them with sending it.
All right.
Washington Post says it's the first time anyone in the group has been charged criminally since the videos surfaced last year. In a statement announcing the indictment, Harris County District Attorney Devin Anderson did not provide details on the charges, including what record or records were allegedly tampered with, or why Daleiden faces a charge relating to buying human organs. So this doesn't answer your question because the district attorney is not providing details about why he's facing the organ buying charge.
Well, it sounds like he tried to buy some organs, so I guess that would, in the same way that when you're, like you're saying, with a prostitute, you don't actually have to go through with the sex act. It's just the making the deal.
But again, the DA is not providing details.
Yeah,
just saying here's what the charge
is happening.
Was.
Okay.
Anderson's
and the
office,
grand jury thought there was enough evidence to bring those charges.
Right. Anderson, that's the DA, said that it could not provide details until the documents charging Deleton and Merritt were formally made public, which is expected later today. Anderson did say, "We were called upon to investigate allegations of criminal conduct by Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast. As I stated at the outset of this investigation, we must go where the evidence leads us." The Anti-Abortion Center for Medical Progress has released several covertly shot videos of Planned Parenthood officials discussing the handling of fetal tissue from abortions. The center claims Planned Parenthood illegally sold fetal tissue. Planned Parenthood officials have denied any wrongdoing and have said the videos were misleadingly edited.
And so far, no one there has been actually brought up on any kind of charge.
Correct. And that's actually the investigation that the DA launched was into the entire thing to see if Planned Parenthood did anything wrong, and they found out that the guy that did the video did some stuff wrong.
Interesting.
A phone message left seeking comment from the center was not immediately returned. Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott has called footage from the Planned Parenthood clinic in Houston, quote, repulsive and unconscionable. It showed people pretending to be from a company that procures fetal tissue for research touring the facility. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton also opened his own investigation into the videos. Abbott said the indictments will not impact the state's investigation, adding that Texas will, quote, continue to protect life. Although they don't really protect life when they execute hundreds of people all the time.
The Texas government?
Well, they're not protecting life when they're protecting dead flesh from being sold either. I mean, it sounds like this guy is claiming he's from a place that can legally do research with fetal tissue. And if you're going to buy fetal tissue, who else would you buy it from but
besides
Planned Parenthood or another abortion provider? So it sounds like
you would go to a hospital that has, you know, one of these NICUs with a very low infant recovery rate.
That's an option. Yeah, but Planned Parenthood would be another one.
Okay, then you would be dealing with a body of somebody who had been born previously.
Right, and most of the abortions where they're getting the tissue, they do these, you know, like partial birth sort of extraction thing. So the baby is kind of being born.
I thought they almost never did partial birth abortion. That's what I tend to do.
In late third trimester.
Late third Okay, so it's only in the case where the mother's life is in danger then, because you can't even do it that late.
No, the mother's life is not in danger when they're doing these late third term or late third trimester things.
They can do a third trimester abortion without the mother's life being in danger?
Yes. That's why there's been debate about it for years, because you're basically having the baby be almost completely born. You're holding part of the baby still inside of the mother so that you can then wind up slicing the spinal cord at the base of the neck.
Wow. Okay. That's crazy.
I don't know. As a Darwinist, I figure if a mother tells me that you know, her baby isn't fit to live, who am I to say she's wrong? You know,
well, it's none of my business. I mean, I try to say it's like, hey, it's your body, it's your life. You should be able to do what you want with it. And as far as I'm concerned, people should be able to buy and sell organs. So I don't think the dude should be brought up on charges in this particular case. I don't know what the falsifying the documents thing was about. And
right. The DA didn't provide any details on that either.
Our toll-free number tonight, if you want to share your thoughts, and apparently you do, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Already some folks ready to talk about the Planned Parenthood thing. So we'll get to you, and you can also join us on Skype. The Skype username is LRN.FM. If you want to sell your organs, you should be able to sell them. And if somebody got some, leftover organs from some medical procedures, then they're just going to throw them out otherwise.
If you want to make an offer on my kidney, let me know.
It's Free Talk Live.
Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a free trial of New Biotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a free trial, call 1-800-965-1170.
I used to be plagued by pot belly and constant bloating. After taking New Biotics, my belly flattened and continues to get flatter. My sense of bloating and discomfort is gone.
If you've got a big belly, you might not be fat. You might just be bloated. New Biotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. So just think how much better you'll look and feel. Think you might be bloated? Call now for a free trial of New Biotics and see how much flatter it makes your belly. You might be surprised. But hurry, call now for details while these free trials last. 1-800-965-1170. That's 1-800-965-1170. 1-800-965-1170.
Hi, this is Walt Augustinowitz. I'm the founder and CEO of ID Stronghold. By now you've heard our commercials about wallets that protect you from electronic pickpocketing. 10 years ago, I created a way to protect my own cards from prying eyes after government officials started talking about issuing a national ID card with a built-in radio chip called RFID. I felt having to broadcast my personal information was an invasion of privacy. Soon after, it was also announced that credit cards, debit cards, U.S. passports, hotel room keys, and even transit passes would all soon incorporate RFID. It was then I formed ID Stronghold to share my inventions in blocking RFID signals with the world. There are a lot of misconceptions out there today about RFID. I encourage everyone to get informed and get protected. Please go to idstronghold.com and get the facts and the wallet, sleeves, or badge holders you need to protect your personal financial data. You'll be pleasantly surprised that through our direct sales model, you won't pay more than other comparable unprotected wallets. It is as though the protection is free. Visit idstronghold.com today.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Yep, it's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here on the radio waves. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, and also you can Skype into the show at Skype username LRN.FM. Tonight with you, you've got Ian.
Rich Paul.
And Darryl.
Don't forget, you can join us online at freetalklive.com. We've got a YouTube channel. You can watch the show now live streamed on YouTube. So somebody asked for this. I hadn't even really thought about doing it, and then they said, put it out there. You guys should do this. Okay. It actually turns out it's not that hard to do it at all. So we've been live streaming now for a few weeks. And you can hit the live stream by going to youtubelive.freetalklive.com, and that'll take you right to the stream. It's our YouTube channel, which also has the archives, like more than a year's worth of video archives of the show are on the YouTube channel. So if you prefer to watch rather than listen, you can do that with Free Talk Live. And if you just want to listen, you got live streams as well as archives that you can download over at freetalklive.com, and it's all for free. Let's go to Phil, listening in Bridgewater, Maine. Phil, it says here you're listening on the radio. Are you listening to WXME 780?
Yes.
Oh, it's good to know we're on that station. I had no idea we were still there. So thanks for the heads up on that. Go ahead, Phil.
I just want to say that I do believe that Planned Parenthood was selling body parts. And basically, I think everybody should be concerned, especially Christians and Jews, that because there are people out there who actually worship Satan and will use animal parts. They use them already, and I'm sure they would use human baby parts.
Now, there are a lot of rumors.
Now, to say that should be a concern, that implies that these Satanists are actually accomplishing something by doing these rituals. So do you think that Satan is actually coming and doing their bidding?
Well, I believe in Satan. That's for sure.
Oh, okay.
We'll find out when we all die if he does exist. It should be. I can't believe that like preachers aren't talking about that kind of thing, because
he might exist for you because you believe in Satan, but maybe not for everybody else. It seems like a man-created concept to try to keep people in line and try to keep them obedient. But let me ask you a little further about this, because you don't really hear very much these days about real Satanists. You know, there's the Satanic Temple, there's the Church of Satan. There's another Satanist group, but these are all actually like humanist atheists. They're not really Satanists. They're not actually worshiping Satan. They're not doing, sacrificing goats or whatever, that kind of thing.
As far as you know.
Well, as far as we know, right? There's no footage of it. There's nothing out there to really.
It's not in the brochures.
Yeah, I mean, they don't come right out and say they even worship Satan. They talk about other things that make it sound like they're really just, humanist atheists rather than Satanists. And you never really heard this stuff. The last time I heard anything about it was like back in the 80s in elementary school. You'd hear stories about Satanists in the woods who are conducting ceremonies like dark masses and dark rituals and things like that.
There's the one guy running for Senate down in Florida that talked about going out into the woods and sacrificing a goat and doing a bunch of LSD.
Yeah, he did talk about that, but you generally don't hear it very often. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Phil. So what have you heard? I mean, is there any hard evidence that there are actually satanic rituals being done on any kind of regular basis anywhere?
A couple of years ago on the Canadian broadcast radio, they were talking about actual live human baby sacrifices in India. It's been a couple of years ago, but and
by Indian Satanists.
Yes.
Now, is there a different Indian Satan? Are these people who worship Shiva the Destroyer? Because I don't recall them having like a cloven-footed, horned devil type Satan. So
Satan exists all over the place. I mean,
just because you assert that Satan exists doesn't mean that Satan actually exists. And you did sort of dodge Rich's question about these Indian sacrifices. I mean, generally, look, I'm no expert on Hinduism, but I've done a little bit of reading about it, and they don't. I agree with Rich. They don't have Satan over there. So, are you talking about some very, very small sect of Indian? Let me get my question out. Are you talking about a very, very small sect of Indian Satanists?
Obviously, I mean, because they didn't really go into it too much. They do come up with some stuff like that.
Who's they?
The Canadian broadcast.
The Canadian broadcast.
BBC.
Okay. And you're right there on the border of Canada, so you can actually hear Canadian radio stations.
Yes.
So you heard something about people sacrificing goats or whatever in India, and the Canadian broadcasters claimed that they were Satanists, or did you presume that they were Satanists?
I presume.
You know what happens when you assume, right?
Well, in Browns Mills, New Jersey, in the early 1981, about 1981 or 1982, I have a couple of brothers that saw like a camp in the woods, because they have a pine forest area in Browns Mills, New Jersey, and they had animal parts all over the place, according to my brothers.
This sounds like the Jersey Devil. There's the legend of the Jersey Devil, and that sounds like what you're describing.
Is that like
here
the
about...
Tasmanian Devil?
No, the Tasmanian Devil's an actual
Devil
thing.
is a Satanist?
No, the Tasmanian Devil's an actual animal. The Jersey Devil's like El Chupacabra. It's something
it's a legend, right? A legendary.
It's a legend. Nobody's ever seen it, but people just see like, oh, here's a dismembered animal. It must have been fill in the blank, whatever your imagination comes up with.
It sounds like you've been jumping to some conclusions there, Phil. I mean, wouldn't you admit that?
I'm saying possibilities.
Well, there are a lot of possibilities. It's possible that the aliens did it too.
Well, it's possible that this conversation is not even happening in reality, but only in the imaginations of each of us individually.
I wouldn't imagine this conversation if I was imagining one.
Well, you can deny it all you want, because when everybody
I'm just asking you questions, man. I didn't say I believed what you were saying, but that doesn't mean that I'm denying what you're saying. I just think
you're saying that what you're saying is possible, and we're saying that it's possible that anything is possible.
What is probable?
They could be Buddhists.
But is it real?
Buddhists?
Yes, those who worship the visible
The Exorcist was based on a true exorcism.
Saying an exorcism was true doesn't actually mean that the exorcism was true. If what you're saying is that someone went to an exorcism and something appeared to occur in a historical sort of manner, then okay, there have been people who've claimed to have been involved in exorcisms, but that doesn't mean that in point of fact a demon existed in the first place and further was exorcised from someone's body. There's no way to prove that kind of thing. You do understand that, right?
No, because of course, because the devil is the spirit. You can't. It's hard to prove a spirit. And it's hard to prove God too. But if you don't have faith, you can't.
Well, I do believe in God. I'm actually a minister in the Shire Free Church, but that doesn't mean that I subscribe to the whole demons thing that some people do.
Well, that's if you believe in the Bible, then you believe in the devil.
Well, just because you believe in God doesn't mean that you believe in the Bible either. I think there's some good stuff in the Bible.
I believe the Bibles exist.
Right. I mean, I think there's some good stuff in the Bible, but I think there's also some terrible things in the Bible as well.
And the word believe is really a strange word in the English language, because the caller earlier said that he believes in Satan, but I don't
This caller?
Yes, this caller. But I don't think you would say that you believe in Satan the same way that you believe in Jesus. Is that accurate? But you're using the term believe for
I believe
both.
in exactly the same.
Yeah, why wouldn't he believe in the same level? I mean, if he believes in Jesus, he would believe in Satan equally, I would think, right?
Okay, but sometimes people say believe in Jesus as synonymous of follow Jesus.
Right.
I'm a believer. Generally means I'm faithful.
I see, as opposed to believing that they exist.
Believing in Satan doesn't necessarily mean that you consider yourself a fan.
I see.
Right. So when you say you believe in Satan the same way you believe in Jesus, are you saying that you believe that Satan is part of the Trinity, or are you saying that you believe that Satan is the Messiah?
I believe in them equally as far as they exist equally.
Yeah, he was saying
That's
that
the
they
only
exist.
thing I believe in.
Okay, I got you.
Equally.
Phil, thanks for sharing your thoughts here tonight. It's not very often that, and thanks for the call, it's not very often that you hear someone talking about Satanism and like actual sacrificing of animals and babies, etc. I got to say, it's pretty rare that somebody will make those claims.
Yes.
But I imagine that within the most fundamentalist circles of Christianity, these rumors are likely spread on a fairly regular basis. We just, we don't hang with those folks, so we don't hear it. But I bet he hears it all the time. The toll-free number is, did you see the cow parts that were strewn about in the forest the other week? It must have been the Satanists. Well, that's, kind of jumping to a conclusion there. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. It could have been the Leprechauns. It's Free Talk Live. Currency is too important a thing to be left in the hands of government bureaucrats, especially when billions of dollars can be created with the swipe of a pen. Overstock.com supports the cryptocurrency movement because it returns the power of an inflation-proof form of money to the people where it belongs. Did you know that you can use Bitcoin to pay for anything Overstock.com sells while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more? If you support freedom and the cryptocurrency movement, you should support Overstock.com.
Are you searching for your soulmate? Someone you can trust, who will never betray you or cooperate with the NSA? Stop searching. With EasyDNS, you found a keeper. EasyDNS does it all. Domain names, web hosting, and managed WordPress hosting. EasyDNS stands up for your internet freedom, and with servers in Canada, they do not cooperate with the NSA. Go to EasyDNS.com. You'll love their services or get a full refund. They guarantee it. And they accept Bitcoin. That's EasyDNS.com.
If you want to play online poker with Bitcoin, you need a site that's trustworthy and technically sound. The site managers of swcpoker.eu have proven their commitment to bringing you great gameplay from a site you can trust, swcpoker.eu. They have lots of new games too, including Chinese poker, and their Krill leaderboard is open right now. It's a beautiful site, easy to use with lots of players. Go on over to swcpoker.eu now and have some fun with your Bitcoin. swcpoker.eu.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, January 25th, 2016. Silver is trading at $14.21 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,106 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $400. Antiwar.com reports, speaking on Sunday in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Secretary of State John Kerry endorsed the Saudi government's decision to attack Yemen in March of last year, starting a war which has raged ever since and killed thousands of civilians. Kerry claimed the decision of war was made in part to target al-Qaeda operatives, even though in reality the Saudis left the local al-Qaeda affiliate, al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, totally untouched for 9 months and allowed them to occupy the major city of Mukalla early in the war, where they've remained ever since. Kerry followed on these comments with complaints about Iranian interference in Yemen. Though the Saudi war is against a Shiite faction in Yemen, the group has few historic ties to Iran, and despite Saudi claims, they've provided little evidence of Iran being even tangentially involved. On Saturday, the White House issued a statement of concern about the massive civilian death toll in Yemen, but conspicuously did not mention Saudi Arabia, who has killed the vast majority of them, and simply urged all sides to exercise restraint. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports center-right candidate Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa won Portugal's presidential election on Sunday, an outcome that should help maintain political balance after a dramatic swing to the left in October's parliamentary ballot. In his victory speech, Socialist Democrat Rebelo de Sousa said he will work to promote consensus and repair divisions created in the aftermath of the previous election when the left ousted a center-right administration that imposed tough austerity under an international bailout in 2011 through 2014. 2014. Portugal's president is a largely ceremonial figure, but he plays an important role at times of political uncertainty, as have gripped the country since last October's inconclusive parliamentary election. He has the power to dissolve parliament and fire the prime minister. Portugal is likely to need all consensus possible, as a shaky government of moderate center-left socialists dependent on far-left parties for support in parliament tries to reconcile its election pledge to end economic austerity with budget deficit cuts promised to the European Union. With nearly all the votes counted, preliminary results showed Rebelo de Sousa winning 52% of the vote, enough to avoid a runoff. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports 8 employees of Cairo's Egyptian Museum will be charged with negligence over the mishandled reattachment of the beard of King Tutankhamun's mask. According to a report by the Egyptian prosecutor, the beard piece of the iconic blue and gold braided mask broke off in August 2014 when workers took the mask off its display to fix an electrical problem in the round base that lit the mask. Museum workers are accused of making 4 failed attempts to reattach the beard, at first by using large amounts of an inappropriate glue, and later by also attempting to cover up their mistake by using metal tools, which also damaged the mask. An investigation into the incident was launched in January 2015. A team of conservators led by German experts in October successfully reattached the beard and attempted to remove any damage caused by the failed attempts. Those facing charges of negligence and of violating professional standards include 2 restorers, 4 senior restoration experts, the former director of restoration, and the former director of the museum. Egyptian prosecutors said in a statement issued on Sunday, ignoring all scientific methods of restoration, the suspects tried to conceal their crime by using sharp metal tools to remove part of the glue that became visible, thus damaging the 3,000-year-old piece without a moment of conscience. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Tomorrow's my big day. I'm going to go in for surgery, and hopefully you'll come along. Now, I do have to admit that I am in a bit of pain, so I'm really looking forward to this procedure. I think we're both going to find out that having surgery just isn't as scary as it sounds.
We're covering our own Jim Haggerty's kidney stone removal surgery, and his surgery is now just minutes away. So, Dr. Atka, tell us what precautions we would take to prevent us from getting kidney stones.
Always stay hydrated. Water helps the kidneys break the stuff down.
Ah, hear that, Jim? More water.
What?
More water. Maybe we should replace your coffee.
Please go away. Please. Ow, no.
That's a camera they're going to use to film the whole surgery from inside Jim's body,
yes, that's going to be pushed into Jim's urethra as well. Now, normally they wouldn't do this. This is purely for the benefit of us watching it on TV.
All right, stick with us, because first he's going to pop into the children's ward to cheer up some youngsters suffering from terminal illnesses.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live. This is Free Talk Live, launching into the third hour of the program. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. And you can bring up anything that you want. In the studio tonight, you've got me, Ian.
Friar Rich.
And Darryl.
We're going to go right back to your calls and thoughts. Let's go to Andy listening in Levick, Texas on TuneIn Online. Hello, Andy.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good. It doesn't sound like your phone's doing real good, though.
Well, let me fix it.
Yeah, if you could fix that, that'd be great, because it's going to drive me up the wall.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, let's go back to Planned Parenthood.
It's not much better. Do me a favor and just back off your microphone by, I don't know, an inch or 2, please.
Okay, how's that?
Back a little bit more, if you don't mind. It's kind of bad.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
That's like 6 inches away.
All right, thanks. Better? Yep, you're better. Go ahead now.
Okay, let's go back to Margaret Singer. I mean, she was a big player in this Planned Parenthood. And
who is that? Who's Margaret Singer?
She was the founder of Planned Parenthood.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. That's the less I have to say.
All right.
No. And so was Bill Gates. Bill Gates' father was a big player in that, and it's a big eugenicist program. But the whole thing with this Planned Parenthood was to extinguish Black Americans. There's been over 50 million Black Americans aborted since Planned Parenthood came about. And if you look at it, if you look at the demographics, you can see that the Planned Parenthood clinics were set up in Black neighborhoods. Now they have a diverse population now, but back in the day when they were set up in Black neighborhoods. They were there to get rid of Black people. And I'm not
This is an interesting conspiracy.
It's not a conspiracy.
Really?
Margaret
She's a racist?
Sanger, she was a racist, and she was a huge supporter of a eugenics program.
Mm-hmm.
And when the government wouldn't do all of what she wanted, she set up abortion clinics in neighborhoods and areas of people that she thought needed to die out.
Wow. Okay.
Exactly. And the thing is that our government is enhancing that by giving them $500 million a year to support that thing. And they just probably in November, maybe early December, they just renewed that carriage of money to Planned Parenthood, as if to slap everybody in the face who saw these people and their videos and stuff. And what's really sad is that here we got some whistleblowers who went into Planned Parenthood and they blew the whistle on these guys, and now they threw the case out against Planned Parenthood, and they're indicting the people who gave us the insight, which most of us feel like is just sad.
Okay, now if I was thinking to myself, what does America need right now? I wouldn't include 50 million more unwanted children on that list. What would you do with 50 million unwanted children if you prevented their abortion? I mean, where would you?
We're not talking about per year, right? Aren't we talking about
not
per year.
And also, just because it's unwanted by the parents that got pregnant does not mean that it's unwanted by some other family, because there are people that want to adopt children, and they're on huge waiting lists because there's not a child available for them to adopt.
Well, it's not that there aren't children available, it's that there aren't white children available that are pink and perfect. Isn't that what it is?
I think that's
because
a factor,
there's a lot of people growing up in state care.
Right,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of people, and part of this has to do with regulations that prevent children within the U.S. from being transported from one location to another, because I have known people that wanted to have children, they wanted to adopt children, but there were none in the area where they lived.
And you can't adopt from outside of an area?
Right, so there's regulations.
That's an absurd regulation. That's crazy.
So, like,
this is close to my heart because I'm actually adopted.
Yeah,
so
you could not transport a child from, say, Georgia into Alabama for the sole purpose of adopting that child.
Do they not grow well in this climate? I mean, if you take a Georgia baby up here, will it be like stunted or something?
Regulations.
Okay. I
Alabama and
don't
Georgia
know
right next to
anything
each
about
other.
agriculture, bro. I know nothing about agriculture.
Or geography, apparently.
Can
Andy,
I
go
ask
ahead.
one more thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, hey, so if our country was doing right in the way it should be, and the people who represented us were in Congress and stuff, don't you think people would be knocking on my door asking me to work? I mean, if they were really doing their job, there would be people knocking on everybody's door saying, dude, I need you to work. Because if they were really doing their job, which was to stimulate the economy and make sure that
That's not the government's job.
Well, the thing is, the government can't stimulate the economy. The only thing the government can do is harm it. I think if the government actually got out of the way and let the economy grow, that's when I think you would see recruiting booths set up outside every prison so they could, find people a job as they were released.
Hey, Andy, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 3733. You can take control of the airwaves here and bring up what's on your mind. Darryl, was there more to the story of the Planned Parenthood? We pretty much wrapped that one up with the
we pretty much
charges.
Wrapped it up. It was basically, here's the charge, and we don't have any details.
Well, here's a reversal of the that story, right? If we were talking about abortions, here's a story where an ISIS fighter, according to vocative.com, has publicly executed his mother after she begged him to leave the terror group, according to Syrian human rights groups reporting a couple weeks ago. Al-Sakir al-Qassem, age 20, used an assault rifle to shoot his mother in the head, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, and Raqqa is being slaughtered silently, which are the interest groups. Both groups report extensively on ISIS in the eastern Syrian city and have themselves been targeted for their work. Hundreds gathered to watch the killing, which the son was said to have carried out in front of the post office where Ms. Lina al-Qassem reportedly worked. Activists say the 45-year-old mother was planning to flee Raqqa, the terror group's de facto capital, and asked her son, Ali Sakir, to come with her. Instead, the young jihadist turned her over to his ISIS leaders, who charged her with apostasy and ordered her execution. She was executed under the pretext of, quote, inciting her son to leave the Islamic State and escaping together, unquote, said the observatory. Public killings have become a routine spectacle for many living under ISIS control, including for hundreds of children. Experts say the constant scenes of punishment is one way in which the jihadist group galvanizes ideological supporters and quashes resistance. John Horgan, psychologist and terrorism researcher at Georgia State University, told Vocative earlier this year, quote, "This is sadism on a clinical level. This is psychological warfare at its most deadly." Pretty horrifying story. This group is so sick, so severe that they would have one of their own guys execute his own mother just because she wanted him to leave. She wanted to escape from Raqqa with her son, and her punishment was execution by his own hand.
Yeah, and a lot of people will say, well, that's just what Muslims do.
No,
it's not. And most of the people that the group calling themselves the Islamic State, most of who they're fighting are other Muslims.
Exactly. And in fact, we had Will Coley is doing a show now on LRN.FM. Many of our listeners are familiar with Will from his calls to this program. He's a Muslim. He's one of the Muslims for Liberty. Their website, Muslims4liberty.org. Anyway, they've got a new show called Call to Freedom. It's on Sunday nights on LRN.FM starting at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And I think it's been a very good show so far. They just finished their third episode this weekend. And it's Will, it's Davi Barker, who's also one of the Muslims for Liberty. They had one of the top Muslim scholars on their show last night, and he basically sounded like a voluntarist, the things that he was saying. Very, very freedom-oriented, very peace-oriented in a lot of ways. So I think people just don't even understand Muslims and, sort of the wide variety that there are out there. Just like with Christians, there are a wide variety of self-professed Christians.
No, there's some of them I wouldn't want to be around.
It's true. 855-450-FREE.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
You pick up the receiver. With your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead, you finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason! Jason! Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
Interact with the hosts you're listening to right now, online at GCNlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at GCNlive.com.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable, but at my house, we saved as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Monday, gold is up $8 at $1,107 per ounce. Silver is 19 cents higher at $14.27 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $398 US. Robertson Roberts has been helping people invest in precious metals for nearly 40 years. If you want to find out more about gold and silver, give us a call today at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited here to take control of the airwaves. Should you wish, you may bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. Coming up, Denver cops have raided legal cannabis growers with grenades, machine guns, and armored vehicles in the state, one of the states where it's purportedly legal to grow and sell cannabis. So we'll tell you more about that coming up here. And also want to let you know about Arcade City. It is going to be a ride-sharing app. It doesn't exist yet, but it's supposed to be coming out on the 14th of February on Valentine's Day. That'll be built by drivers for drivers, meaning that the people running Arcade City are drivers just like you, if you're a driver. I'm talking to those of you who are existing ride-sharing drivers in Uber and Lyft. If you are a highly rated driver in Uber or Lyft, you're qualified to become an Arcade City driver. So go to arcade.freetalklive.com. You can keep all of what you earn with the new Arcade City. They're more decentralized than Uber or Lyft. And again, you do have to be a highly rated Uber or Lyft driver right now to qualify. They're going to open that up to more people in the future, but to get started, that's what they're requiring. Arcade.freetalklive.com. Go there. You can get signed up and get in on the ground floor of this thing. Arcade.freetalklive.com. We'll go to the Denver story here in moments, but first, James is on the line in Arizona via Skype. Go ahead, James.
Rarely would I ever call into so-called Free Talk Live to agree with one of your activist tools, a liar, Rich Paul. But
You're such a nitwit, bro. It's good to hear from you again.
Dude, bro, you're so clever. Pothead. But anyway, the Guam school administrators definitely May I speak? The Guam school administrators certainly overreacted to the felonious pranks of bomb threats, that is. But it's funny when one of your own so-called ministers, Mr. Mark, the fact of the matter is the people in the Pentagon deserved it, Edgington.
What did you just say?
He's quoting Mark, and he's also cutting out and losing quite a few packets there, so I'm not sure the point that he's trying to make. Can you try that one more time, James? We'll give you one more chance here. We got a bad connection.
That's right. Right. He actually said that in front. Right.
Okay. Sounds like it's not working out. Thanks for the call. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Every now and then Skype fails us, in which case, and maybe it was some dropped packets between here and there, or who knows what was going on. I'm sure it won't be the last time we'll hear from James, as our phones are always open. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And no one should be surprised by this headline over at truthvoice.com, where 3 roommates who grew medical marijuana are now suing 2 law enforcement agencies after their rural conifer home was raided military style with armored vehicles, machine guns, and flash grenades.
What part should we not be surprised about in that headline?
That after legalization, there's still raids. Like, you'd think that after legalization, this kind of crap would be over. Like, someone might jump to that conclusion.
Right.
But no, the police want to keep pushing. They want to keep criminalizing. They want to keep arresting, even though they've been told by the state legislature and the voters here, hey, this thing's over. This whole, cannabis war.
Well, now
over.
they're in a lot of ways, they're now protecting the business interest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
You can't compete with these people. You don't have a license to grow.
Well, we don't know if they had a license or not. Apparently, they are suing, which suggests they might have. A year after the raid, none of the 3 has been charged with a crime, and they have received minimal response from Denver police and Jefferson County sheriff's officials about why they confiscated $70,000 in cash, 28 firearms, and a pickup truck, according to their attorney. Rob Corey, who's an attorney with the Cannabis law firm, that's a thing in Colorado, apparently. Rob Corey said, quote, "We have heard pretty much silence from the authorities on our request for further information. Our clients are innocent of any criminal wrongdoing whatsoever. This is a significant amount of property, and they'd like to get it back." Denver police spokesbureaucrat Christine Downs said the criminal investigation's ongoing and that she could not comment on the lawsuit. Jefferson County Sheriff's officials did not respond to a request for comment on Friday. Heavily armed SWAT officers knocked indoors and threw flash grenades during the January 23, 2015 raid, according to the lawsuit filed Thursday. Officers assaulted dogs at the Peaceful Mountain home and destroyed more than 350 marijuana plants. Derek Smith and Shannon Riley, who are engaged, and their roommate Eric Hepper grew medical marijuana and sold it to Vietnam War veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. So we got to put a stop to these Vietnam veterans getting medicine, as well as cancer patients, who they also sold to. The Colorado Constitution allows residents to grow medical marijuana for more than 5 patients when there's not a dispensary within a reasonable distance from their homes, according to the lawsuit. It also allows residents to grow as many plants as their patients' doctors recommend. So 350, if that's within the doctor's recommendations, they should be completely legal. In the search warrant affidavit, Denver police said they were working with a confidential informant before the raid. One of the attorneys said, "This is rural Colorado. There is no law against cash, and there's definitely no law against guns." So he's saying the guns were legal, cash was legal, marijuana was legal. This whole raid is some sort of trumped-up nonsense, and it does sound like they're protecting somebody here, right? It does sound like somebody is in the pocket, or the police are in the pockets of somebody, and maybe it's some big marijuana growing operation that's wanting to come down on the competition. I mean, I'm totally speculating here, or maybe it's just some good old boy cops who wanted to take some people's pot and cash and guns.
Yeah, that's actually a possibility. I would. It's disturbing to me that the prosecutor's office won't even say why they did did this or give some indication of anything these people might have done wrong to justify having their door kicked in. I don't know. I don't understand how these people operate.
Well, they probably have a weak. Hopefully, they have a weak case. Because the police are used to working in an environment where they're pushing people around, right? They're used to coming in, raiding somebody's business, and then having no consequence for it. They're used to being able to go in. We saw this happen in California after California passed Proposition 215 in the mid-1990s. In 1996, the police in most places in California just kept on raiding. I mean, they kept targeting the medical marijuana shops, and they would go in, sometimes DEA, they'd go in and they would hold them up at gunpoint, empty their cash register, take all the marijuana on the premises, and never bring a single criminal charge against them. And it was just like, okay, well, now you don't have any cash. Now you don't have any product. So how are you going to hire an attorney to go after your cash and your product? If you don't have anything left, how can you really do anything to defend yourself in that circumstance?
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the great things about Bitcoin. You know, if for no other reason, if you're in a cash business where you might have charges brought against you, keeping a little stash of Bitcoin that nobody else knows about is a great way to...
Well, and it would have to be something that nobody knows about because, as we saw with Royal Solbricht, the feds did seize Bitcoin, and then they auctioned off said Bitcoin.
Yeah, so
it would have to be something nobody knew about. Make a blockchain.info account and send it through an anonymizer.
I wouldn't use blockchain.info. You'd be better off creating your own Bitcoin wallet with the actual Bitcoin Core or Bitcoin XT software and then putting that in an encrypted locker somewhere, in my opinion. That would probably be the safest way because then it wouldn't just be sitting out somewhere for someone to get access to. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Share your thoughts.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online, and I found it. It's buysellmakeoffer.com, a brand new company that's the newest and best way to sell products online. You can even use Skype or video to sell your car, home, any product. You get 30 days free, packages starting from only $7.95, and buysellmakeoffer.com never charges item fees ever. Just go sign up, then load your stuff to sell. I love this site, buysellmakeoffer.com. Got it? Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit, did your nerves spike? You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
Cryptocurrency and peer-to-peer tech developments happen fast. Stay in the loop with the Daily Decrypt, a new video channel and podcast that will keep you on top of the latest innovations in crypto finance, security, networking, transportation, and gadgetry like drones and 3D printers. Subscribe to the Daily Decrypt on YouTube and SoundCloud and be an early adopter of the future. The Daily Decrypt.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything you want right here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. The story about the Denver cops crashing into not crashing with a vehicle, but I'm sure they would have liked to have done that too. They went in with dogs. They went in with flash grenades. They did actually knock in the doors of a home where, it was Conifer was the place where this happened. And they then seized 350 marijuana plants and ultimately have not yet charged anyone criminally with anything.
So they did what's called civil asset forfeiture.
Right, $70,000 in cash, 28 firearms, a pickup truck, and 350 marijuana plants. That's a big take.
Apparently, the Institute for Justice ran a report a couple of years ago and found that 87% of all asset forfeiture cases are civil, not criminal. In only 21% of those cases does anyone ever file an appeal, meaning they go to
try
court
to get their stuff back.
To try to get their stuff back.
Right.
And then they win in 41% of those cases.
Wow.
Which means
so like
that
10% of people get
in total, it's
8%.
less than 9% of people that get all or part of their stuff back.
After spending how much on legal fees and attorneys?
We don't know, and half of the seizures by the DEA involve less than $10,000.
You know, I got to hand it to these courageous growers and marijuana shops, these people who are taking a risk still. I mean, they're taking a lot of risks to bring marijuana to the streets legally in Colorado and Washington and Oregon now and in Alaska. They're taking risks of the police raiding them anyway, even though it's legal.
Yes.
On some ridiculous pretext. That's a terrible risk because these guys just lost it all. They lost their entire grow operation and all the cash backing it. It's a huge hit to anybody's business
and their truck.
And the truck. And further, it's also a risk because when you're dealing with that much cash, you've got to have security from non-police kind of robbers as well. So it's a pretty risky business, and kudos to them for being able to put it on the line like that. And I hope this works out for them. And I'm glad to see that there is a cannabis law firm. Now I don't know if they're charging for their services. I presume they are, but at the very least, it's nice to see somebody who's going to help them out. On the legal side of things.
It could be some sort of thing, sort of like the ACLU, to where they provide their service pro bono.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be.
People, appreciate it, so they make donations.
I sure hope that's what it is, because the people on the front lines of this, it's hard to come back from a robbery like that. unless the cops, for whatever reason, didn't find a stash of cash that you had somewhere, or Bitcoin, as Rich Paul was pointing out, which listeners who don't know about Bitcoin and want to learn more, we're not going to get into deep detail right now. You can go to Bitcoin.com, and that's where you can learn about Bitcoin. You can get your first Bitcoin wallet set up. Rich, you suggested blockchain.info. That's a good first wallet for anyone who's on the computer. And then there's, of course, different wallets for your smartphone that you can download. I like Airbits. I think that's the best sort of cross-platform, both Apple and Android-style wallet out there at the moment. But maybe you've got a better idea, and you're welcome to share it with us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. To the phones and the fun, Bradley is listening in Michigan. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Rich, and Darryl.
Hi, Ian. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Bradley.
Okay. This is Bradley from Alpena. I'm the chairman of the Libertarian Party and where I'm from.
Oh, okay.
I'm also the media director of the Libertarian Party of Michigan. Today we had a court case in Gaylord. It was a hearing for Section 8 of the Medical Marijuana Act in Michigan. This employee of a marijuana dispensary got charged for what did he get charged for? Delivery and manufacturing.
Why don't you put the wife on the phone? Or whoever that is.
It's Dana Carver. We just went to the trial. The court was full of activists. You know, it was amazing.
So what was the dude charged with? I couldn't quite hear her in the background.
I think it was. I'll give the phone over to her.
It's perfect. Hi, who's this?
Hi, my name's Dana Carver. I'm an activist in northern Michigan.
Hi, Dana. So what happened?
Okay. Mr. Hood was a employee of a dispensary. There was a CI that came in and purchased cannabis from him.
Okay.
Here in Michigan, they say you have to be registered to your patient through the system. And today he had a Section 8 hearing, which means that he's trying to use a medical defense in trial. And they're trying to say he violated the act, so therefore he does not get to be – his trial is not going to be about medical at all. He's not going to be able to use medical marijuana for his grow, for the delivery charge, for anything.
So let me see if I'm clear on this. This guy's running a medical marijuana dispensary in Michigan.
He was just an employee. He was merely an employee.
He's an employee. Somebody comes in, an undercover agent, says he wants to get some marijuana, but the dispensary isn't like linked with this person legally, so therefore he couldn't legally sell it to him?
Well, basically the way the law reads in Michigan, it says that the caregivers are supposed to be attached to their patients through the registry. So this guy was a caregiver and an employee at a dispensary, but when he sold this, he was not registered to the guy with the act. And so therefore the prosecutor was able to show the judge today in court that he wasn't attached to the patient. He didn't ask the patient what his debilitating medical condition was. He didn't ask the patient how much was usable, reasonably necessary for his treatment. Mm-hmm. He just had the guy walked in, ordered a few items, put them in a bag, took the money, and so and he did show his card. But he did show his card. He showed identification. But they're saying because they're not registered together under the law, he's in a violation of the act. Therefore, the act does not pertain to him.
Is this a felony, by the way, what he just did then, since he's sold marijuana outside of the legal system, allegedly?
Allegedly, because that's their interpretation of it. They say that he didn't know the guy, he wasn't the guy's caregiver.
So this guy's facing a felony charge. He's facing years in prison for this.
Right. He's facing delivery, manufacture, and operation of a grow house. Even though nothing happened in his home, or not operation of a grow house, operation of a drug house. None of the transactions happened in his home. It was one transaction at the store where he worked, merely doing his job.
Wow.
But then they went to his house and got his grow because he's a caregiver for other patients. And so he's operating a drug house just because there were drugs there.
Jeez.
It's just like an enhancement charge, you know.
And so this was the district. You were there for the actual full bench trial today?
No, there's no bench trial yet. Today was just a hearing for Section 8. Tomorrow the jury gets selected, and they're going to have his trial tomorrow and probably the next day.
And they're not letting us talk anything. They're not letting the attorney talk anything about how it's medical at all.
Are you guys going to do any jury nullification outreach?
Most definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Groovy.
It's already been in the paper there in town. A guy put articles in the paper. Took full-page ads on nullification. And tomorrow we're going to risk our freedom to go stand out and do jury nullification for it.
Good for you. And bring video cameras, too, just in case some cops try to harass you about it.
What are the rules on getting video cameras inside the courts there in Michigan?
They said that if we want to videotape it, then we can pay to get their footage that they videotape with their cameras. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Michigan court rule, which isn't even a law. It's just a court rule, an administrative rule, that says we cannot tape in there unless we get a permit, and we're bona fide journalists, don't you know?
Well, what does it take to get the permit?
Oh, you already have to be a journalist with a little journalist card from a journalist paper, you know, one of their mainstream papers, and then it's...
Are you sure about that?
Yes. People have tried it up here.
Wow, that sucks.
People got contempt court charges for trying to tape.
Man.
And the judge even said, no taping, no pictures, it's distracting. Yeah.
Can we send them on assignment for Free Talk Live to go record this thing?
Well, Free Talk Live's not registered with the courts in Michigan.
Oh, registered with the courts.
Well, anyone who wants to register as a Free Talk Live producer can certainly do that. But, I mean, it sounds like you're saying you think that would be a difficult thing to do. It's probably going to be too late to do it by tomorrow morning as well.
Maybe we should talk about for the other medical marijuana trials.
Yeah, you should try it.
Later.
You should try it.
I go to all the court hearings.
Good for you. Let us know, will you?
Contact me, Darryl at freetalklive.com.
Yeah, contact Darryl at freetalklive.com. He's got some experience registering with the court systems, at least here in New England. And thanks. And let us know what happens, will you, tomorrow if you get the chance. We'd love to hear an update on this trial. Thanks for the call tonight, guys. Drive safe out there. It sounds like you're on the road. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE.
Currency is too important a thing to be left in the hands of government bureaucrats, especially when billions of dollars can be created with the swipe of a pen. Overstock.com supports the cryptocurrency movement because it returns the power of an inflation-proof money to the people where it belongs. Did you know that you can use Bitcoin to pay for anything Overstock.com sells while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more? If you support freedom in the cryptocurrency movement, you should support Overstock.com. There comes a time when you need custom embroidered or screen printed apparel for your business, organization, or a special event. Corporate Casuals has been helping people create great looking logoed apparel for over 25 years. They can produce a single piece or thousands using name brand apparel like Nike, Patagonia, Adidas, and Hanes. Create your logo in their online embroidery design studio or upload your existing logo and they'll turn it into embroidery. Go to corporatecasuals.com/FTL and include FTL in the order notes and save 5% on your order.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
I'm Ian Freeman, host of Free Talk Live. We've been covering Uber for years on the radio with their ongoing legal cases across the globe defending your right to give people rides without asking government permission. I wanted to support Uber more directly, so I signed up to be a driver. It's fun to meet new people and help Uber push forward innovation. As of this recording, Uber is active in 67 countries, so there's a good chance they're available in your area. If you'd like to drive for Uber and make some money helping people get where they want to go, sign up at drive.freetalklive.com, and you'll get a $100 bonus after you complete a certain number of trips. With Uber, you can drive anytime you want. You set your schedule. To get started, you need a good driving record, 4-door vehicle, insurance, registration, and to pass a background check. It costs nothing to sign up, so visit drive.freetalklive.com. That's drive.freetalklive.com. And if you just want to try Uber as a rider, visit ride.freetalklive.com. Your first ride's free. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. closet. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and moments remain here. Enough time for you if you want to join us. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. With you tonight, you've got Ian here.
Rich Paul.
And Darryl.
Don't forget to do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com. You can enter Amazon through the links there. There's Amazon UK, Amazon Canada, and Amazon US. Just go into the Amazon that's right for you, and you can buy virtually anything through Amazon. There's only some things that they won't sell you. Go to, and everything else you can probably get on tour. So go to shop.freetalklive.com to start your shopping experience, and Free Talk Live will get a portion of the purchase price. Shop.freetalklive.com. Since we're talking about naughty cops going around and raiding people's homes for marijuana grow operations in Colorado, where it's supposed to be legal, and also raiding somebody's house in Michigan. Just a moment ago, we had some people on the line telling us about a marijuana shop employee who had his home raided because he sold some marijuana to an undercover agent in a marijuana distribution center. So just because things are becoming legalized doesn't mean that there still aren't cops out there trying their darndest to put growers of plants and distributors of flowers into prison cells, which is, Rich, something that almost happened to you. You ended up going to jail for a year of your life. You didn't make it to prison, thankfully, but a year was pretty bad anyway. And that was all for basically selling some pot.
Yeah, and then another 6 months for smoking.
Noah Berlatsky writes over at newrepublic.com in another disturbing story. The 2012 film Eden distills all of our culture's fears about underage sex trafficking into a single nightmare narrative. It shows dozens of young girls kidnapped from high school, forced into prostitution, and then murdered when they get too old for their dissipated clientele. Immoral, heartless criminals preying on innocent, attractive, sexual girls. This is a trafficking story that resonates. Eden was supposedly based on true-life experiences of a woman named Chong Kim, and when it was first released, it received rapturous media accolades. But it was revealed later the film was largely fabricated. Indeed, the truth is much less sensational. Most domestic minors in the sex industry are not kidnapping victims. They're children who have fallen out with their parents, often because they're gay or trans, or been forced from their homes, and who sell sex to survive. And the biggest danger they face is not from organized rings of predatory criminals, but the police themselves. That's one of the central insights in Domestic Minor Sex Trafficking, Beyond Victims and Villains, a new book by RTI International researcher Alexandra Lutnick. Youth in the sex trade are a criminalized and stigmatized population, and it's very difficult to survey them or get accurate statistics about their experiences. But Lutnick told me that by email that in her research and those of others that, quote, it's not uncommon to hear that young people experience violence more often from law enforcement officials than from any other group. In the worst cases, the violence takes the form of physical and sexual assault. Lutnick reports on one incident in which an underage transgender woman in New Orleans was forced to have oral sex with a police officer in order to avoid arrest. And another in which an underage cisgender worker, and cisgender means like straight,
not
right?
Trans.
Not
no,
trans,
it
right?
means that you are currently the gender that you were born.
You were born, okay. Was forced to fondle a police officer for 5 minutes. I don't understand, the girl told her caseworker. If he's an undercover cop and I'm a minor, isn't he not supposed to, let me do that. Christine D'Angelo, the executive director of Sex Worker Outreach Project Sacramento, told me by phone this kind of police abuse is common and persistent. D'Angelo worked in a massage parlor when she was in high school in the 1970s and the early 80s. She said, quote, there was this team, 2 police officers. One was Hispanic, one was Asian. That's all I remember. Young men. They'd come over and pick me up, and they would take turns doing that with all the girls all over town. They'd take you out to the field, have sex with you. We'd call that rape now. But back then, you just did what the police officer wanted. They'd dump you out in the field, and it was surrounded by farmland, and you had to figure out a way to hitchhike back in. And I suspect that what she's saying there as she was working in an actual massage parlor was this was the price the massage parlor had to pay to stay open. Right? This was essentially what they were doing to not have the police shut their business down, was let the cops come and take advantage of their workers, in this case, who was legally under the age of consent. In 2015, SWOP Sacramento interviewed 44 sex workers in the area. They reported similar police abuses to those that D'Angelo had experienced. The same stuff is happening today, she said. You could almost remove the face, put in a different person, and everything would be the same. Jenny Heineman, the sociologist at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, worked with a federally funded commercial sexual exploitation of children program in collaboration with research teams across the U.S., saying, quote, more than half of the young people I interviewed stated they regularly perform sex acts for police officers in exchange for their not being arrested. That's more than half of young sex workers that she interviewed. The dangers for minors engaged in survival sex isn't just from a few or many corrupt officers. The legal system itself is abusive. The Federal Tracking Victims Protection Act, passed in 2000, states that no minors should be charged with prostitution or selling sex. But Lutnick told me that, quote, because prostitution-related offenses are regulated at the state level, the federal law is rarely applicable. In fact, she reports in her book that between 2000 and 2009, arrests for minors for prostitution and related vice charges rose by 8.5%. And she found that even in places where minors have technically been decriminalized, some young people are arrested for what is essentially a prostitution offense. That is, police find something else to charge them with, like loitering, disturbing the peace, or even lying about their age to police officers. Young people are supposedly arrested for their own good, to remove them from the influence of pimps or from their own dangerous choices. But in practice, Lutnick told me that, quote, anytime a young person is arrested, their vulnerabilities increase. If convicted, young people face barriers to employment, housing, benefits, and educational goals. In other words, arresting young people means they're less likely to get jobs and education, which means they have even fewer options other than selling sex in the future. Because of the threat of abuse and imprisonment from law enforcement, minors engaged in survival sex are afraid to go to the police when they do need help. In her book, Lutnick quotes Leah Albright Bird, a survivor of sex trafficking, who says, quote, I was exploited from age 14 to 18, and in 4 years, I did not have one encounter with law enforcement that couldn't have led to my escape from my exploiter. Let me rephrase that. She was being exploited for 4 years by some sex trafficker, right? So this is like the classic example of somebody who is under the control of another human being. And she had multiple encounters with law enforcement, but not a single one of those encounters could have led to her escape. So all of the encounters with law enforcement that she had in no way assisted her in escaping from the person who was her slaver.
Horrible.
A 2009 study by the Young Women's Empowerment Project in Chicago, which interviewed youth involved in trading sex, concluded, quote, police often accuse girls in the sex trade of lying or don't believe them when they turn to the police for help, unquote. Research shows that most underage people engaged in survival sex work alone or with peers, but when young people do stay with an abusive pimp, it's often because they're seeking protection from the police. Now, who saw that one coming? I mean, these sex workers, I'm sorry, I understand people don't want to believe this is the case, but there are underage sex workers, girls and males, who are taking money for sexual, services. They've run away from home or whatever. Or they just can't legally get a job because they're not old enough. Because they're prohibited by law to get a job. Sure, that happens too. But this will also get you paid probably better than your average $7 an hour McDonald's job
yes.
as well. And so they are getting into relationships with an abusive pimp because they want to be protected from the police.
Right.
So, frying pan or the fire. Well, apparently one's better than the other.
Yeah, well, just about anything tends to be worse than dealing with the police, because that becomes a permanent debility. Any encounter with the police can be crippling.
Sure.
And
once
even
you
if
do
it's
it
not
once,
physically crippling.
And if you've done it once, they know you'll probably do it again, so they'll come back around for more. If they see you on the streets or whatever, the same cop sees you again, well, he's going to pick you up again.
Well, and then there was the former police officer now in Oklahoma City that was convicted of 18 of the 36 counts that he was facing of sexual assault and rape. And he intentionally targeted women that had criminal records because he felt that their word against his word would be thrown out in court.
He's probably right in most cases. He just did it so many times, right, to where it was overwhelming evidence against him.
Yes.
Yeah, the Cosby factor.
Quote, we want to so badly believe the issue of underage sex work is as simple as bad guys hurting good girls, said one of the experts. But young people's involvement in sex trading needs to be decriminalized. She says that boys and girls who sell sex for survival don't usually need police intervention. They need housing, food, and other services. She says no one under the age of 18 should be arrested for this. The social issue will not be solved by arresting and prosecuting youth. And it's also true that it won't solve any kind of issues with legal adult-age prostitution either. And there's a proposal to legalize it here in New Hampshire. We'll tell you about it later this week.
Millions of Americans are irrationally feared dead following a train derailment near Wilmington, Delaware.
Less than 200 people were aboard the train, but because no names have been released yet, countless more are being imagined trapped inside the wreckage by worried parents and overly anxious friends.
And the list of imagined victims is growing by the minute. From brothers-in-law who live in Delaware, who usually drive but could possibly have been on that train, to friends who went to Delaware on a business trip and may have been next to the tracks for some reason when the train derailed.
And sadly, we're getting reports that even those who have never been to Delaware are now also among those irrationally thought killed.
Oh, and we are just now getting word from Homeland Security that they're now warning people their fears may spiral into a wholly new fear, that their loved ones never existed at all and are just byproducts of a drug-induced lucid dream in which their consciousness is currently imprisoned.
Such a shame, since this is reality.
There is nothing beyond this to believe otherwise. It would be folly.
This is the Onion News Network.
As a pioneer of the e-commerce movement, Overstock.com is proud to be the first major retailer to accept Bitcoin. Overstock was the first because Patrick Byrne, Overstock's CEO and founder, firmly believes in personal freedom and cryptocurrency. Over the past 16 years, Overstock has furnished over 18 million homes with a diverse line of products to suit everyone's unique styles and preferences. Support Overstock and freedom of choice while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
There is no such thing as attention span, according to Jerry Seinfeld, who figures that people have an infinite attention span if you are entertaining them. Hey, he's kept us from channel surfing for several decades, and now he's making more millions as a Las Vegas headliner. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're looking for work. So choose every single word as though it was the last word the person you're speaking to will hear. Otherwise, it might be. Avoid redundancies such as added bonus, advance warning, end result, prior history, or personal belongings. And avoid cliches like the plague. Just kidding. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal